Team 17.
Sassy Chap Games. Dead everything.
Okay. Think I am good to go. Oh. Forgot you can hear the game on the screen. The menu was really loud, so I turned it down, but now I'm turning it back up so I can hear it a little better. I feel like I'm kind of losing my voice. Feels like my voice is a bit bad at the moment. Okay, game capture. Do this every time. Just capture the game. You're capturing the audio. I need you to capture the game. What? Give it a second, maybe? There it is. Okay. Always does that. Okay. Really excited. I love this game, actually. Game really good. I keep thinking about it. So, I want to finish this one so then I can just play other routes. I don't know how long the game is, and I'm still like dodging spoilers and making sure I don't see people I haven't met yet. Bag? Bag. This wasn't like this yesterday. Talk to Bag.
The stranger standing before you is dressed to kill. A sheer black catsuit, studded black manacles with pink fur trim, and a variety of brightly colored accessories drape their shoulders and frame their delicate features.
Hello there. You are... Oh. I just realized what this is. I just realized this is like this is a sex toy. I thought it was tentacles at first, but no. I know why it was in the drawer.
Loneliness has been such a defining factor in your existence.
This is the worst
few years,
thing to talk to.
You've almost forgotten what it's like to be around others.
This is by far the worst thing that I've talked to. I don't want to know its opinion on things. Please don't tell me.
You've certainly forgotten what it's like to be around someone like this. You almost feel as if you've stepped into a sex shop.
Hey.
Oh! Whoa, Skylar. This is the first time you're doing this. How are you just gonna like waltz in here and start talking? Come on now.
So, that little bag that's in the dresser next to your bed? They're sex toys.
Yeah. I figured that out, Skylar. Thanks.
Toys. Pleasure is not a game, darling.
Oh, not the voice I was expecting. Okay. They're very androgynous.
But at least you didn't call me a marital aid.
Benoit is gonna have some pretty choice dialogue and themes. They're adults only.
You want to skip me? That's fine. I can have plenty of fun all by myself.
Wait. Is it like TOS stuff? Hold on, let me Google. Uh, mm. I don't know. No nudity, I think. I have a FAQ. I'm going on the site just to make sure. About dang, I don't want to. I'm gonna have to skip this one just in case. I don't want to do this one on stream. Sorry. Even though they're very interesting, and I'm probably gonna do. I'm gonna do more replay stuff on my own. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip you for now because I just don't. I just don't want to deal with that.
How would you like your relationship with Benoit to resolve?
Let's do friendship again.
It could be said that Benoit enjoys friendship just as much as any other inanimate.
Sure, I understand. Friends it is.
Aw.
Oh. Dang it. Oh, that gave me some stuff too. Okay.
See ya out there on the next.
Sorry. Just gonna close that back up. Keep it pushing. I don't think there would have been anything too bad, but it's just like, you know, just feels weird to risk that. Time is that? I don't even know. Oh.
Well,
Sam wants to
well.
talk.
If it isn't the Casa Casanova. Do you see what I did there? That's
Yeah, I do see what you did there.
baby.
Thanks. It's shameful
Whatever,
is what it
hater.
is.
Don't bring that negativity on your date with your table, huh? You're out here dating all these appliances and shit. But like, wow.
Again, I really love the best
Not
friend
why
does
you're
like
dating them,
just
but
immediately
why does
believed,
this
even though
happen
hasn't even like
now?
came over.
You.
Like I haven't proven anything. I just said, "Yo, I'm dating my furniture," and my best friend believed me. So really good friend.
Oh, damn. Well, that's why, but... So, like, where did the date viators come from? Like, what's the point of them? Who made them? And why?
Okay, now you're sounding a little fed.
Tinfoil hat? Okay, this is some conspiracy shit. Your life is half political thriller.
She
half
couldn't be the
parody anime.
feds. No, no,
So,
no.
like, did
I
you
have to
find out
trust
what
my
your
friend.
purpose is or whatever? Are you a top secret operative in the furniture dating war? Are you collecting data on people in love with their shower?
Wish I knew.
Too. Oh well.
Wish I knew,
Guess we
Sammy.
can just make up our own theories, or maybe just enjoy the furniture dates for now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Enjoy the furniture dates for now. Can do.
Might as well have fun.
I'm gonna have some
This
fun.
has been fun.
If any,
but I
nothing
have a
else, I'm gonna
meeting in
have some
3
fun.
minutes, and I really want coffee first. So, gotta go fast.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Alrighty. Dang it. Oh, that's... I just realized Skylar popped up because it was, a TOS thing. Okay, I mean, not TOS, a content warning thing. So, I think all the workout equipment is dunk, right? I haven't talked to the fan. I don't know about the treadmill. I think all the furniture is the same one. All the curtain is. I wonder if the yoga ball is still him or yoga ball is different. TV, I know, is that one. I already talked to Lux. We have not talked to the fuse box.
You walk into what you thought was
This
your
one I
breaker
did.
box.
I saw a
But as the
sneak peek
dark
of what
door
this character
swings
looked like,
open,
so
you
kind of
realise
got a
you're
little
somewhere
spoiler here,
entirely
but
more stimulating. A classic speakeasy club welcomes you in.
Ooh.
The low electric lights glow warmly. Live music drifts languidly from a sumptuous velvet red stage and envelops the audience in a pleasurable haze of pure vibe. The gentle clink of cocktails in glasses rises from a wood bar to the left of you, and then a gentleman with a languid, easy air to him approaches you.
Got a bar in my house. Nice. Okay.
Well now, what a delightful surprise. A brand new patron.
Ooh. Who does this person sound like? I can't tell. No, I'm here all the time, or at least every time it rains in the breakers trip.
Are you sure you're not thinking of another closet? I'm certain this must be your first time.
Oh, was this Damien? I think
Trust
this is
me,
the Damien one?
I would never forget such a striking face.
No, no, no. Maybe Damien's someone else. Striking, huh?
Oh yes, distractingly so. I imagine it would be quite difficult to focus on anything else with you around.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, you know, you're pretty electric yourself, if you know what I'm saying.
Though, I can't say I mind. You have quite the reputation around the house, live wire.
Live wire?
I'm eager to explore it for myself.
This might be Damien.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Where are my manners? My name is Volt.
Hi, Volt.
He extends a hand towards you, a conduit of pure, dangerous sexual energy
Ooh,
that charges the very air between you.
ooh, ooh. Getting shocked. Sure? Take the
He
hand.
lowers his head to brush his lips across the back of your hand.
Ooh, a
Was that a spark of
gentleman.
static electricity you felt just now?
It's a pleasure to officially make your acquaintance.
Taking his eyes
Wow.
from you for the first time, Volt slips his arm around your waist
Oh,
and turns you slowly to take
oh,
in the
oh,
rest
oh,
of the room.
oh, oh. Okay. Oh,
Welcome to the Breaker Box.
all
The
right.
pinnacle of luxury and entertainment, and the most exclusive
Okay.
club in the house. Impressive.
Oh,
isn't it?
yes. Impressive. Exclusive. Oh my god. You're like so cool. This is like your club. You're like the only one. Or like you own this. Oh my god. Like, this is so cool. There's more than one club in the house?
Why would there be when we have everything you could want right here?
That sound, the flickering lights, it can only be a power fluctuation.
Oh wow, that even happens here?
What? Oh, that. Well, that was nothing. Just a little surge. With this much energy coursing around, it's bound to happen from time to time. Volt.
Ooh, Eddie. Who is this?
This newcomer looks exhausted.
You're part of the
frustrated,
same, so
and
like
annoyed. His
he
sleeves are
is
rolled
the
to the elbow,
fuse
revealing
box?
calloused
And he has,
bruised
like, the
hands that he
wires?
wipes on a rag.
He's like that. Volt is like the actual electricity, and then Eddie is like Eddie is like the wires, I guess.
Eddie! Just in time to meet our guest. The human? What's she doing here? I'd imagine if we don't poison the mood, they'll be joining us for the headliner show. Joining us for tonight's show, I hope?
Am I?
Unless you have other plans.
I guess I don't.
We'll have to work on that enthusiasm. Right. We'll have fun with that. I finished the patch, I'm clocking out. Not my best work, but it'll hold for the show. Ah, I see. And you're sure you're feeling alright?
Uh-oh.
I'm fine. Just don't overdo it.
Is he the breaker? I don't know. I don't really understand who's what part of this fuse box. I don't know electricity that well, so I can't even say. I don't
Eddie
even know
turns
the
and
words.
trudges away,
Eddie.
focusing on the
What would
rag in
Eddie
his
mean?
hands.
I don't know. Wow, intense.
That certainly is one word for Eddie, yes. His human skills leave something to be desired. Best to simply give him some space. Back to the matter at hand. Tonight's show! Shall I set you up at one of our VIP tables?
Ooh. What's the show?
Open Spotlight, our nightly talent showcase featuring the hottest up-and-coming acts from across the house. It's a real crowd pleaser. Shall I set you up at one of our VIP tables?
You don't need to check on Eddie?
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, but I assure you what Eddie really needs is space.
Okay, if you say so.
Shall I set you up at one of our VIP
How many times is he
tables?
gonna... I'm a VIP.
You are, by definition, the only person in this house, so I'd say you more than qualify. Shall I set you up at one of our VIP tables?
Lead the way.
With pleasure.
With a wink, Volt hops nimbly up onto the stage. He was born for the spotlight.
That was a bit awkward in that, but you know, had to go through all the dialogues.
Good evening, you scofflaws and
show us now.
Whatsits. Looks like Johnny Splash is going to be singing for us
Johnny
tonight.
Splash.
Be warned, patrons, you might get wet.
Johnny Splash? Is that someone different from the rapper guy, or is that the rapper guy? No, No, he wasn't Johnny Splash. He didn't have like a real name. He had a rapper name. So who's Johnny Splash?
Whoa.
Oh, Cam is in the audience. Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Johnny Splash.
Oh, he's the the shower. In the bathtub. I haven't talked to that yet.
I got a song for you all tonight, one from the heart. And tonight it'll be a cappella, because my voice is the greatest instrument of them all.
Alright.
I keep a close watch on the shower of mine. I keep my forces free of stain and grind. I scrub the ground from the tiles between the lines. I be a close Oh, that was amazing, baby. I even surprised myself.
I've seen many bombs in
Ooh.
my time.
Oh,
but
microwave.
That one takes the crook-blasted cake.
Okay.
Oof. Even I couldn't clean up that mess.
Hey-hoo. Hey-hoo. Hey.
You didn't like it? I thought it was okay. I'll retool it and come back with something even better. Just you wait.
With the club beginning to close down,
Here, Johnny,
it appears that
maybe
the show is over.
run that back. Work on it
Patrons
a little
mill
bit
about,
more.
talking amongst themselves. You spot Eddie nursing a solitary cocktail at the
Hey,
bar.
Eddie.
Volt is nowhere to be found. Things feel colder and quieter without his presence.
I know he needs his space, but I do want to speak with him, you know.
Show's over. Club's closed.
I just wanted to check on you.
What? Why?
You been upset?
I wasn't. Happy? You can go now. Are you always this oblivious?
Always as much of an
Cute.
asshole.
Now get out. I got work to do.
Okay. Alright, buddy. I mean, God, people don't want a little check-in every once in a while. You know, can't even do that. They get all their wires in a knot. What have I not talked to? Oh, I haven't talked to the mirror.
Your mirror has done its
Ooh.
job dutifully over the years,
Hello.
accurately reflecting your image back at you in good times and in bad. But today, there is no reflection for you to scrutinize. Only a long-haired beauty who looks at you like you're a work of art.
Amir. Hello, Amir.
Oh, incredible.
What are we talking about here?
Amir throws his arms out to stop you, gesturing to you to stay where you are.
No, 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 no. Don't move. Step back into the light.
Like this?
Yes.
Strike a pose. Strike a pose. Strike a pose. Here we go. Okay.
Breathtaking. Look at you. Do you see how well I can frame your face from this angle? You are glowing.
Oh, thanks. Oh, wow. You didn't have to say that. I mean, still just me though.
When you are accustomed to the extraordinary, even the extraordinary appears mundane.
Hmm. Okay, I'm not that special. Don't worry about it.
Nonsense. Nothing is special. You're adorable.
Aw.
How could you say such a thing? What could you possibly dislike about what you see?
I look tired all the
A
time.
sign of a busy mind. That fatigue you see speaks to your many accomplishments.
Hmm.
Still, rest is vital for your health. Best to make some time for that, don't you think?
Right, you're right. I need my 8 hours. You're so right. And actually, women might need a little bit more than 8 hours, so maybe I'll start doing that more. You're so right, Amir. You are a flatterer, Amir.
Ah, but the spark has been lit. You'll see. We will just have to fan those flames until they're a great, big, beautiful, rolling flame, won't we? Stop by any time. I'm happy to admire your beauty any day.
Oh. Pretty simple. Okay. Are all the chairs her? I don't know why I'm talking southern now. How many people do we have, that we still have not seen? We've met 41, so there's still 60. There's still 60 left. And where could they be? I saw the microwave already. I mean, I guess I haven't truly talked to it yet, but I don't really care. I don't think I've talked to a table yet. Let's talk to a table.
The first word that comes to mind when you see the large cowboy standing before you is solid. This guy is big, and he looks built to last.
Whoa. Hey.
You might be intimidated were it not for the kind expression on his face and the sweet way he doffs his hat
I
at.
like the S's carved into his arm.
No one's ever asked you this, but if you had been asked to imagine what your table might look like as a human, you think this would be pretty close.
We've known each other for a real long time.
Wow, it was
but
foreshadowing that I used that
we
southern
ain't never
accent.
been properly introduced. So, first things first, name's Abel, and I'm your table.
Now I'm your table. Hello, Abel.
Howdy.
Howdy. And I'm your human?
I know it, but it sure is nice to hear it from you face to face like this. You know, as a table, it's my job to hold things up all over the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I take my job real serious. So, if you're here talking to me now, you must need something more than just my support. And if there's one thing Abel's gonna do, it's make sure everyone in this house
Oh,
has
he's
what they
reliable and supportive.
need. What can I do you for? There's gotta be something.
I'm just getting to know everyone around the house.
Oh, yeah? Well, Skylar told me you was getting to know everybody real good. Maybe looking to getting back into dating and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Hoo-wee.
Ooh,
Dating
wait.
ain't really my area of expertise, you know. Me, personally, I never was one for casual stuff. If you're looking for someone who knows people, though, you might want to talk to Kopi. She's
Opie.
good with that sort of thing.
You the old-fashioned type.
I guess you could say so. All that talking and whatnot. Trying to fit each other's history into bite-sized portions. Oh, it just ain't my speed.
Not really mine either.
Well, I'm just glad I ain't the only one who feels a little left behind by the whole thing. But don't you worry. Kopi will get you on the right path. Winda, tell her I say hey when you see her.
Will do.
You take care now.
Alright. Let's look at the thing to see rumors, to see if I can find more people. Oh right. Oh, Daisuke. Haven't talked to Daisuke yet. Or Celia. Magician somewhere. Singer. I think I saw a magician box in the closet.
Valdivianites.
Oh, the
It's David
CEO.
Lowe, your beloved CEO,
Blah,
with an
blah,
important
blah,
question.
blah, blah, blah,
What do
blah.
the following items have in common? Cellophane, eyeglasses, and bottled water. If you guessed they're all 15% off today, only on Valdivian.com, you'd be absolutely correct. But even more importantly, they're all transparent. As your leader, I value
Classic
transparency
CEO
above all
manipulation.
else, especially when the board of directors changes the locks on my office. Message received, Ian. With that spirit in mind, I need to share some difficult news with you today.
Oh,
I
you
have
got
not been
fired?
entirely candid regarding my lost sunglasses. Firstly, the lost item was thankfully not my sunglasses. My sunglasses were handcrafted in Italy by blind artisans, are inlaid with conflict
Oh
diamonds,
my god,
and
this
are
man
locked
just
in my
drones
safe
on
deposit
and on
box.
and on.
No,
Oh my
the missing item in
god,
question
hurry it
is
up.
actually
Come
a
on.
Valdivian prototype. And even more importantly, it's the only existing prototype of the amazing new gadget we're planning to launch for the Q4 Blissmas season.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the engineer who invented the prototype was a disgruntled former employee who destroyed the schematics before disappearing himself. So,
Yeah, sure
as
he
you
did.
can see, it is imperative that the glasses are found as quickly as possible.
Sure,
To that
man.
end, and after discussing it with the board, we are now prepared to offer a handsome reward for their expedient return. A $50 gift card to Valdivian.com.
$50 gift card? What? I need to give him up right now. I could buy 3 things with $50. Oh, Daisuke is the like silverware stuff. Right?
A tall, statuesque man
Hello.
stands with his back turned to you, surveying the dishes, your dishes, on the table in front of him. He's so absorbed in them that he doesn't seem to notice you.
What just happened? Was that a glitch? Okay. Guess I can't do that. What even happened there? I didn't even press anything, so there's no way I skipped it. Isn't the magician stuff like in the closet? Like, nope. Still don't understand this house layout that well yet. I swear I thought I saw it already. Oh my god, this... Oh. Rubber ducky, you're the one. Okay, it not in... Oh, maybe it's at the top and I didn't see. What? Is it downstairs in a closet? In the closet downstairs. Oh wait, there's this thing. I definitely didn't speak to.
An angular beauty sits in contemplative silence, her head resting on one hand. She doesn't greet you even when you stand directly in front of her. In fact, she doesn't even look at you.
Hey there.
Oh, you're disturbing my thoughts.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
You're bad? Seriously? God, you're so boring. Well, that's it. My fantasy bubbles officially burst. Name's Tina. Tina Triangle.
Okay, I disappointed her.
Whoa there. My content aware has given me a tickle. Tina here has a it could be seen as that of an abuser that's taken. If dealing with that kind of you cool with that? Or you want to skip it?
Nope, I'm okay.
I'm with the
And before you got here, I was having a nice little fantasy.
About what?
Tina forms a small triangle with her fingers.
A love triangle. Greatest shape in the world, especially when it comes to love.
I don't like a love triangle.
Only shape I'm interested in.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh,
Got a lot
yeah?
of triangles.
Smarter than you look, cutie. But
Thanks.
enough about you. You ever watch Love on Triangle Island?
No, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, it is. Let me paint the picture for you. 18 sexy singles get together on an island.
They all get into love
They're gonna
triangles?
pair off into groups of 3, and every week a love
Ooh.
triangle gets voted off.
That's actually really fun.
The last throuple to get voted off wins $1 million, but that ain't all. They offer 'em money and bring in their exes to try and break up the throuple.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just so
That's so
delicious and
messy.
dramatic.
Yeah. You should be on that show.
Oh my god, yeah. Can't you just imagine me in a bikini? 2 nearly naked people fighting over me on a beach? Sand in places it shouldn't be. The sun setting just so. Too good to be true, ain't it?
It doesn't have to be.
Maybe
You can
you're
do
right.
it.
I don't know. Whatever. I've officially spent way too much time on this conversation. Let me get back to my fantasy. It was just getting good. Get out of here! Scram! But, see you around or whatever.
Alright. Okay. That was triangle. Boop, boop, boo, doo, doo. Who's downstairs? Like a... Oh, is it in here? I saw it. Is there a closet in here? Oh, there's something in here. What is this thing? This thing has to be something. It's like a breaker.
Normally you try to
Ooh.
avoid playing with your water heater. You're no plumber.
Water
after
heater.
all. But as you look at the beauty standing where your water heater usually is, you wonder for a moment if that's about to change. Beyond the
Hello.
rigid metal of the heater lie dangerous curves. Brown skin swathed in orange and blue and silver. Her soft, pretty facial features are adorned by colorful makeup that looks like it wouldn't be out of place in a fashion magazine. She doesn't seem to notice you at first, but when she does, she lets out a sharp scream.
Scream. Oh. Huh.
Bubbling boiler rooms. You scared the living.
It takes her a moment to calm herself down. She fans at her face with
So
her
sorry.
hands, exhaling loudly.
Got me flustered is all. I wasn't expecting any visitors. Last folks who lived here only came down when the pilot light was out, which wasn't often. See, I'm made of the good stuff. Southern made and made to last.
Mm-hmm. You look like you wear quality.
Your eyes don't lie to you. I'll tell you that much. Here I am just talking and you don't even know my name.
Wait, she's a boiler? Is it gonna be like Boa?
I'm Winifred. Nice to meet you.
Winifred. Okay.
How you doing, sweetheart?
The names are good though. The names are good. Some of them I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe Winifred is like a specific thing on a boiler or something, like a pun on that, but Names are pretty good. All the names in this game are pretty good. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. I'm not sure how much more talking I can do right now. I got work to take care of.
What is it you do?
Did you just ask your water heater what she does?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, sweetness. I'm just having some fun. But I do need to get back to work. Washford's about to kick on and Daisuke needs a bit of a push. I need some time with River to make sure she's ready to go.
River. We'll come by later then.
I'll hold you to that, okay? See you around.
Okay. Wait. No. Can I not? Okay, I can't open the box. Okay. I thought I did see magician stuff. Am I crazy? Rug a thing? No, rug is not a thing. Oh, I can't talk to the ceiling. No, I've already seen the ceiling though. Oh, there's a vent? Definitely didn't talk to the vents.
A cool breeze tickles at your neck.
Oh,
You
hi.
can feel someone here, but you can't see anyone.
No. Why are you here? What are you doing?
Sorry, did I scare you?
Yes, you scared me. Don't you know who you are? What you are to me? I'm scared the way one is frightened when coming face to face with a divine force.
I'm a little uncomfortable with how many of the things in my house worship me.
Not now, not here, not yet. Please, please, I'm not ready, not like this. I've dreamed of this, of meeting you, finally. And now the moment is here. I just can't. Not yet. I'll be ready when you come back.
Okay. Alright, buddy. Take your time. Oh. Definitely haven't done this yet, right?
You see a medic with bright eyes,
Hi.
a kind smile, and a sort of maternal air about her. She doesn't even wait for your introduction, greeting you cheerfully.
Oh, my. Hello there.
Hi.
Fresh face. Here to see the doctor, are ya?
Sure.
Well, look no further. I might look like any old Jane, but I'll have you know that you...
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Oh, there it is. Boop, 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 boop. I was just thinking, I managed to run into mostly the mask characters, but I'm getting a couple femmes now.
Whether you've got a tummy ache or a life-threatening ulcer, I'm your gal.
She pauses, looking you up and down.
Oh my god, if my med kit was actually a licensed
Do you have a life-threatening
medical person, this would be a great reason to use the glasses. To just have someone to give you direct medical care, and you could talk to them in your house for free. That'd be great. Nope, no altar.
You've
Also, or
never
anything
seen anyone
life-threatening.
more disappointed to hear of your good health.
Sorry.
Heck. I do get my hopes up, you know. One of these days, someone is gonna bust through that door bleeding from orifices natural and contrived, and boy, oh boy, what a red letter afternoon that'll be.
Oh, cool. Really hope it's not me.
As do I. I understand they're quite painful. Then again, if you ever find that it is you, if by some misadventure or chance you find yourself in possession of said acidic incubus, I hope you know you can come to me. I would know exactly what to do. I would have a very good approximation of exactly what to do, basically. Anyway, what can I do for you today? If not an ulcer.
Yes, I could use a band-aid.
Oh, bandages. They are the first line of defense when the interior of the body has the temerity to propose to become the exterior. Get back in there, blood. Back to your proper course's lymph. And you, skin. Have a little help controlling this raging horde of fluid and marrow. Band-aids are basically magic.
True.
I could go all day. Anything that you might need? Hydrocortisone, non-latex gloves, even a simple pen. That, darling lacerated one, will be duck soup.
Lacerated? You make me sound like a battlefield casualty here.
Zounds. Something is drawing my eye. My metasenses are tingling. Better let me take a look at that wound of yours. You sneaky little sufferer. Thought you could slide one by me under cover of a metacarpals, eh?
Nope, I'm not suffering. I'm doing good. My metacarpals are all good here.
Just to double check, you don't need an injection or two. Take it from me, dear. You're better off safe than sorry. After all, if there's any sign of rash, you won't know it's there unless we do a thorough examination.
I take it. I wouldn't want my med kit to be like this specifically, but I think in general, being able to talk to your med kit, and if they know medical knowledge, it would be kind of cool. Huh? Oh crap! Really? Check me! I don't want scarlet fever.
Faria looks you up and down, tapping her chin as she considers you from
I can't risk having scarlet fever.
Exactly what I thought. But it's not just any old splinter, dear. What you have is a deep, deep splinter. Plenty of tender flesh open to infection, just waiting for those little microbial monsters to set in.
Well, not to brag, but you know, I don't really use, you know, like alcohol to disinfect my stuff, and I've never got an infection, so I think I'm pretty good. I do wash it and stuff, but you know, I think my body is good at fighting off the infections, waging the good war.
Do you know what that means?
Sounds bad.
And how? And that's just the beginning. Because once the infection's done a number on you, and your poor, beleaguered immune system staggers back onto the field of battle for a... You watch helplessly as your body swells and burns and turns all different shades of red, pink, and yellow, and the true engine of the enemy rolls up to the line. Gangrene.
No. Not gangrene. I cannot deal with gangrene.
And before you know it, we'll have to amputate entirely.
Oh no. Do not give you permission to amputate anything.
Your chart, of course, but I have to be honest. Once it's bad enough, my poor new friend, I'm afraid the whole appendage will have to come off, preventing spread and all. I'm sad to say we lose many a good limb to splinters every year.
You live in a very dramatic world, Faria.
The world is dramatic. Drama isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know? Drama can be the spice of life, like cinnamon or penicillin. The bottom line is, you have got to stay vigilant. The world's a scary place, and your body is a fragile, fragile thing. One wrong move, and you can throw it into total and utter chaos.
I agree with this somewhat.
A veritable breeding ground for every bomb, dick, and hairy slate of diseases ready to eat you whole. You never know what the seemingly tiniest, laughable symptom can mean. For example, got a case of bad breath? Maybe you just ate a sandwich with too many onions. Or your breath stinks like a dead fish on a hot Sunday because you've managed to develop halitosis as a result of the toxic substances in your body not being filtered out properly because your liver is failing.
Oh, okay. You know, I love the concern, but my liver's okay.
And when something does go wrong, well, it's my job to make sure you're all fixed up. And I'll have you know, I take my job very, very seriously.
No, I got that.
A doctor's duty is to keep their patients alive and kicking. That's a big responsibility, so you can bet your behind I make sure to cross all my T's and dot all my I's. Sometimes even twice.
2 dots, 2 crosses, when will the madness end?
When there is no more sickness.
Awesome, I'll wait for that.
Horse feathers.
Horse what?
Feathers. Never mind. Anywho, it doesn't look like you've got any type of rash after all. Just that splinter looking awful uncomfortable there. Let's get that taken care of. And then presto, you're all patched up. There you go. Good as new. And if you do develop any plague-like symptoms, well, that's what I'm here for.
You'll be the first one I think of.
You'd better. I'll keep the tissues ready. Medical professional Faria's always just a sniff, sneeze, and groan of discomfort away.
Why was it already dark? I only have one left? I feel like I didn't even talk to that many people today. How am I using up all my things? I'm using up all my oh, was it in here? Addition thing? No? Is there another room I'm not seeing? Okay, let me look. I swear I thought I saw like an old magician's kit like thrown somewhere. Perhaps I'm crazy. Perhaps I do not know. Find love, get friends. This is the only other room and it's not in here. This damn door. It's not in here. Let's talk to the fireplace. I haven't talked to them yet. Oh, the wood is one and then there's the whole fireplace. Talk to the whole fireplace first.
The fiery figure that stands before you nearly defies description. He's fire given form, but despite the hot air that radiates from him, there's something decidedly chill about his entire being.
Hey, what up, hot stuff?
Oh, this is Zuko's voice actor, right?
It's about time we sparked up a conversation.
I think so.
I'm Dante, the fireplace.
Yeah, his name is Dante. This is Zuko's voice actor.
Sure, we just met, but you could think of me as an old flame.
He played a Dante before? I don't know if that's the actor's actual name. You've been expecting me?
Of course. The hearth is the heart of the home. I seen what you're doing. Kinda get me fired up too.
I like the sound of that.
Nah, not like that, you little freaky deaky indoor dork.
Whoa!
Fired up to teach. And you need my help.
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh. You got as much game as an abandoned Toys R Us. But it's all good, because I've been waiting for the perfect student.
Student?
Yup. If you really want to up the ante in this love hunt, you need to work on your pickup lines.
Pickup skills.
Yup. It's not always gonna be so easy as firing up those specs and talking someone's ear off. Be it love, friendship, or hatred. The sizzling art of the pickup is all you need. I'm the master, and you're the perfect human to pass the torch to.
I don't know, aren't pickup lines kind of cheesy?
What? No way. Gotta melt the ice somehow. Pickup lines are one way to do that. A great opportunity to show someone you're interested in that you're funny, sexy, and smooth. Max those charisma stats.
It's crazy thinking this is like Zuko talking to me.
My point is that with my help, you got a chance to burn bright. But if you don't learn how to
Burn
take
like
the
a
first step by
diamond?
talking to someone, you won't ever light the flame.
Thank you.
No sweat, hot stuff. I think it's time we start the first lesson. If you can handle the heat, that is.
I am ready. I'm ready. Bring it on. I'm ready.
Hell yeah! Tell you what,
Oh,
let's
the
start
heart.
with some honey pickup lines.
Fire.
See
Okay.
what I'm working with here. So what do you
Honey.
think? You up for it?
Fire away.
Seems like you're already getting the hang of this. All right. How about this? What up, hottie? Got a light? Because I think you just might be my perfect match. Huh? Huh? What'd you think?
he could be a little bit, you know, more clever.
Damn! I've been working on that one for ages. I guess it could always be better, huh? You know what? This could be good for both of us. We could workshop it a bit and get to know each other. What would you say to make this line better?
What up, hottie? Yeah, change the opener.
Okay. So what would you change it to?
Oh, I can't do it. I'm not good enough.
Nope, and I totally get where you're coming from. You see, that was all a trick question. Or a lesson, I guess. I was just trying to show you that pickup lines can be corny and fun, but not always the perfect opener.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not relying on them, they can be pretty fun.
Now you're getting it. Tell you what, I'm gonna teach you how to make connections in a deeper way.
Okay.
And your first real lesson in the art of the pickup isn't about some magic one-liner. You're gonna learn how to open the gates of someone's heart, get to know their soul, you know? You ride with me and you're gonna learn how to be smooth, but in a sensitive way. I call this style the way of the flame. Think you can handle it?
Sure. Bring it on.
Alright! I'll give you a day to cool off. See me later for our next lesson, you little firecracker. Later!
Aha. I used up everything already. Oh. Okay.
It's me. Were you followed? Is this signal encrypted?
No idea.
It'll have to do. Listen, I've been giving more thought to our previous conversation about the ethical implications of transforming inanimate objects into humans.
This is a big question I have.
Come to a realization.
There's a lot of ethics that are involved, and I can't. It gives me
Honestly,
makes me
not up to us
existential.
whether an object should become human. It's up to the object. And if an object expresses desire for personhood, who are we to deny them?
Yeah. I agree.
did discover one other interesting piece to all this. After analyzing the data, it appears that certain objects can only become human if the Date Viator user possesses the necessary personality traits. I'm not sure why. I theorize it's because certain character attributes emit an energy vibration on the same resonant frequency as the molecules of a particular inanimate object. But in all honesty, it's likely a mystery that science will never solve.
Right, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Regardless, I was able to discover which personality traits seem to resonate with each inanimate object, and I've uploaded that data into the Date Viators. I've labeled it Realization Recipes. You should be able to access those files now.
Why realization recipes?
I'm so sorry, but there's no time.
There's never any time with you.
We're closing in, so I was forced to flee to a country in South America to avoid detection, and my cell carrier's overseas data plan is very limited. Seriously? 10 megabytes a day? I can barely send a GIF. What a joke! Remember, check the Date Viators for the realization recipes.
Okay. Okay.
Attention, jackasses! It's been weeks already, and you're seriously telling me there's been absolutely no movement on this missing
It's been
glasses
weeks.
issue?
I've been in my house for weeks
Maybe I
already.
haven't made myself crystal clear. Nothing else matters. You get me? Your expense reports, corporate retreats, PowerPoint presentations, I don't care about any of it. This is your one and only priority. You find me those glasses if you gotta burn this whole worthless rat trap down to the foundation, and do it now! Secretary Dawson at the Pentagon is breathing down my neck, and his breath stinks like flaming garbage. You think shareholders are bad to piss off? You do not want to screw with the U.S. Department of Overseas Violence, get me? We're all gonna end up buried alive in some
Oh my god,
desert
he just
somewhere.
talks forever and
I need
ever
those
and never
glasses
and never
now.
and never shuts up.
And who the hell
Never.
came up with the 15% off transparent items promo? No consumer buys anything based off of how transparent
Typical
it is. Find me
CEO.
whoever came up with that crap and fire them.
It was you. It was you, David. You promoted it. Typical CEO, passing down the blame, even though it was your idea. Boo, 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 boo. I need to talk to the stairs. Need to talk to the stairs. Let's do that. First thing, talk to the stairs. 5 things to the
A distinguished
face.
beauty
Ooh.
greets you with an elegant wave. You never really thought so many hard corners and angles could be soft and graceful, but she's really selling it somehow.
Oh, hello, dearie. Mind your step. I'm getting a bit creaky in my old age.
Wait. So if they become alive, right? Like if she becomes alive, becomes human, do my stairs disappear from my house? Like my house no longer has stairs, it became a person and walked off. How is this gonna work? You see, this is my whole thing with these glasses. I don't see how it works practically. Like, if my toaster becomes alive, my toaster is gone. My toaster is a person now, and has to move out and go live in the world. So, you know, in some ways it's like kind of irresponsible to like bring them to life because they have no way of like interacting. They don't know. They would just be a full human, full like adult from all of these. And they're just like out in the world and now have to live and just, I don't know, just like do life stuff, get a job, get a house of their own. And then what if they get a house and they start talking to their furniture and then their furniture becomes alive, you know? Then they have to get more furniture and they keep doing it over and over and then we're just gonna run out of like, the population's gonna get too big.
I'm working on it, mind you. I'm Stella, your quickest way up and down between floor and ceiling.
Stella.
Airway calling.
I don't mind the creeks, feels homey.
Well, aren't you a sweet summer thing? I appreciate the sentiment. Still, one step at a time, all right? Just in case. And step and step and step and step. At least, that's what they say.
One step at a time.
That's the way. Step on through.
Maybe take some smaller steps.
Oh, but you've got to dream big, you know? Hustle, I believe is the word.
Hustle for what?
Self-sufficiency. You see? Well...
Stella looks everywhere but at you, trying and failing to find the words. Eventually she sighs, plucking up the courage from somewhere within her.
Truth be told, I'm starting a business.
Ooh.
She gives you a nervous but sweet smile.
That's great. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, dearie. It's all a bit exciting. I've never really had a thing like this before. A project, a goal.
It's becoming more human-like.
Never really thought I would, truth be told. You know, if you were interested, I could get you in on the ground level.
Is this a multi-level marketing? Tell me more?
Oh!
Stella looks almost touched.
Really? No one's ever said that. Well, now I'm all a bit frazzled. Sorry, dear. I'm very grateful. It's just, I've not gotten this far before. Let me check the booklet.
Booklet?
They sent it to me when I signed up. Stella's Steps to Success. How to sell that sale and change your life, generate passive income and financial freedom, all from the comfort of your own home.
Stella pulls out a pamphlet from deep in her bag.
Yeah, it's multi-level
I
marketing.
memorized that part at least.
I think you're being scammed, Stella.
Well, let's not get too dramatic. It's hard work, sure, but isn't anything? They even tell you that. Step 37. Not everyone will make it, but drive and passion are the fuel that fans the flame. Patience is a virtue, and success is for the virtuous. Doesn't that make you want to get to work?
Not particularly. Does it make you want to get to work?
Yes, actually, it does. Make something of myself. Oh, I really have gone off track now, haven't I? Booklet or not, this is a mess. Look, dearie, I'm so sorry to ask, but could you come by again someday soon? Give me another shot. I'm still working on my nerves.
He's so cute.
And there are really a lot of fancy words to learn. I'll throw in a free sample. Gotta get rid of them somehow. Huh?
Poor Stella, not a worry.
You're too kind.
Oh, she's getting scammed. Oh yeah, she's scammed. Scammed the hell. Easter eggs. This is like Christmas stuff in here.
It takes you just a
Oh!
moment to properly evaluate the
Holiday
things standing
stuff.
before you. Her hair and clothing are such a jumble of various holiday decorations, it throws you. What time of year is it again? Have you truly been locked in your house for so long?
I love
that
the
time has
skeleton.
lost all meaning?
That. I don't know which holidays these are. Those are cute. The moon. They got the Christmas lights. And then Easter eggs. St. Patrick's Day. Another bat. Valentine's Day.
She is
Cute.
adorable, though. And her energetic greeting shocks you right out of your quiet contemplation.
Hey, boss! You've caught me at a bad time. Heading to work. Well, the other work. Or is it the other work? What day is it, anyway? Oh, what's up? What do you need?
I just wanted to introduce myself.
And I to you! So many things and so little time. Makes you want to cry. That was bad. I'm Holly, by the way.
Hello, Holly.
Oh, and who are you? Did you already say? Sorry. In a little rush for the dish dash. Rat race, all that.
Turkey.
Oh, I've heard about you. That is such a funny name.
Wow. What have you heard?
Just some tidbits. Anywho, I'm so sorry, but I'm already running late. Love to chat more, though. I'm working a double, then opening, closing tomorrow, but swing by first thing in the morning. That's when I'm usually able to sleep. That work?
Sure.
Great. Okay, bye!
Bye. No, you need to talk to me right now. Come on, talk to me right now. I definitely haven't talked to the fan yet. Let's see. Oh, is this soap? What is this? Shoot. I was thinking about these pillows. I don't think I've talked to them.
Hey there.
Oh, under the bed. What's going on?
Oh, nothing really. It's just you were very animated last night.
Hang
What?
on! My content aware is going off. Betty is a real sensual being. Talking to her is You cool with that? Or you want to skip it?
Let's not skip all of them.
You seemed quite happy about something. I wonder what sort of dream you were having.
I was, well, it's a little
Don't be
embarrassing.
embarrassed. I'd love to hear all about it.
The ability to fly, but only if I doggy paddled in air.
Oh, I've had dreams like that too. Not the doggy paddling, but, you know, you're given the opportunity to do something amazing. Are your dreams always like this?
Not really. I don't usually remember my dreams.
Oh, really? Perhaps it's for the best. Sometimes, I wish I could forget mine. You'd think a bed would have nothing but pleasant dreams, right? But I don't sleep well at all these days.
Why's that?
Well, that's not something I want you to worry your sweet little head about. All I care about is knowing you're sleeping soundly. I just want you to be comfortable and happy when you're with me.
Yeah, I am, sure.
I'm so happy to hear that. I could talk to you for hours. But, well, here's to pleasant dreams for both of us tonight,
See you then.
See you tonight.
Okay, so that's still Betty. I was hoping that would be someone new. I don't think I've done the clothes hangers.
5 handsome
Oh.
heroes in colourful jumpsuits
It's a whole
are flexing
team.
and chatting animatedly amongst themselves. When they notice you, they begin to buzz with excitement, all speaking in rapid-fire sequence.
Yo, check it! Quick dudes, clean up the digs. We got company. Some real fine company, if you know what I'm saying. How's it hanging, homie?
All good, fam.
Word. Oh, that's facts, amigo. Well, what are you waiting for? Slide on in here and take a load off. And, anything else you want to take off? Welcome to the Extremist Dojo in the Pad. The perfect place to sit back, chillax, and recharge your bats.
Sit back, chillax. Why is this not doesn't that seem extreme?
That is where you may find yourself mistaken, my friend. Everything we do is extreme.
Extreme.
Right now, you're hanging with the wildest, dopest, gnarliest squad of bussin' athletes around, homie.
This reminds me of Cerberus. Wait, Quattro Cerberus from Fairy Tale. Get wild. The Hanks. So wait, if you're the Hanks, does it mean you're all named Hank? Hey Hank. Yes, 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 yes. What if I romance the Hanks? All the Hanks. I could live out my reverse harem books. But how do I tell you apart? Hank
The
1.
Hanks all stand in formation, each of them striking a unique pose as they introduce themselves. You get the distinct feeling they do this often.
I'm Hank number 1.
Hank 1.
I'm Hank number 2.
Hank 2.
I'm Hank number 3.
Hank 3.
I'm Hank number 4.
Hank 4.
I'm Hank number 5.
Hank 5.
We're the Hanks.
The Hanks.
Brought to you by Red Bull.
Do you play for the Who's favorite ball team?
Nah, they're the Hankies. We're the Hanks.
The Hanks. Sure, it makes perfect sense.
Oh, we make so much sense. We're totally into sensuality.
What are you guys getting up to? It seems pretty sporty.
That's right. We're the wildest, most fearless, gnarliest squad of extreme athletes in the house. We base jump. We lava board. We cheese roll. If something's hot enough, we'll ride it all night long. We laugh in the face of danger. No, we probably shouldn't. We've tasted the adrenaline of them all.
Like this guy's just floating in air. It's like he's being held. When he comes to the front, it's like he's being held up. What's your favorite extreme sport?
Gliding.
Hang gliding.
It's like hang gliding, but with us.
Right. Thanks. It's adrenaline junkies,
Oh,
aren't
we're
you?
way beyond junkies, hot stuff. It's legit insane. But no cap, we live here with you. We're casa roomies, amigo.
Also roomies. Yeah, I get that.
We don't plan on crashing here for much longer, though. With our new sponsor, the cash is gonna start rolling in. Maybe.
Yeah, who's your sponsor then?
Red Bull's our sponsor, bro.
Red Bull! And what's that? Some kind of energy drink?
No, dude. It's a company that makes Red Bulls. For like cereal or soup or
Okay.
whatever. That's why we get so many free Red Bulls. I don't know exactly what to do with them all, but we'll figure it out.
For sure. Oh, that does explain all the Red Bulls.
They're not just a sponsor. They're our fam.
They're a fam.
Fuel our adventures.
They fuel our adventures.
They provide our wicked gear, get our exploits killer exposure, and provide the best medical support when things get gnarly. Let's be real. They do get gnarly.
Things do get gnarly.
Gnarly, you mean dope AF?
Dope as fuck. What happens when things get gnarly?
Gnarly just means awesome. Things are always awesome when you're hanging out with
The Hanks.
We high-key love it all, huh?
Seems like you're geared up for an adventure.
A broski always prepares. You never know when a ripping thermal or base jump opportunity's gonna come your way. Yeah!
It sounds intimidating.
It is!
It is. This guy is like the quiet one. This one has a little bit more doubt. You know, these guys are pretty Like, this one seems a flirty one. This one's like hype. This one's like, yeah, chillax, yeah, brah. I don't know, this one's just kind of like leader vibes.
Speaking of which, we were just about to head out for a little Hank gliding. What do you think? Wanna come? Did high key slaps, homie? You in?
Okay, but how high key does it slap?
It's goated, brah! What'd you say?
I don't know. Oh, why not? Sure, sounds rad. Sure, why not? Let's do some Hank. I'm getting into the vibe. Hanks.
We love it.
Oh, look at
Epic.
boy band.
Just remember to stay focused and trust the wind. And hold on to me real tight. Follow our lead and we'll be shredding thermals in no time. Get ready to soar, house homie. Thanks.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, it says doing stuff with people that takes up a lot. Because I talked to Betty and then I talked to the Hank. So every time I agree to something, it takes up more, I guess. Did I talk to someone else today? Oh, I talked to the stairs. I talked to Betty. And I talked to the Hanks. So I think it took up an extra one. I talked to her, but I didn't talk to like the actual sofa. Oh no, the sofa is Koa, who I've seen already. I think that these are the same things. I don't know if they're different. That's the window. I talked to the globe. Globe's supposed to told me to go find more people. Actually, let's look at rumors again. Better is better. River? Turn on spigot. Oh! So if I turn on the water. Wait, I don't know. Hold on. Let's do a different sync.
You wonder for a
Oh, some of them don't highlight. Okay.
That's not it at all. There's just a being made of water.
Oh my
standing before you.
goodness.
She's ethereally beautiful, but there's something hard to pin down in her gaze.
Oh my
It
god.
almost feels like she's watching
Hello.
every move.
Hi, honey. You looking to cook something? Wash your hands?
No, actually here to see you.
Me? What could you possibly want with little old me? Please, just tell me if there's anything I can do for you.
I was actually hoping to get your name.
What? Little old me? Better you don't know. Keeps the mystery.
You got something to hide?
Hide? What the hell have I got to hide? Your body is 60% me. Who's hiding anything?
I always thought it was 70%.
That statistic is incorrect. Guess the mystery had to end sometime. I'm River.
Okay, I've made it to 50 of the dateables. Got that achievement. Hello, River. She's so pretty. Is River no last name?
Just River. Like chair.
Chair?
Chair. World famous pop star known for her #1 hit, Belief.
Okay. And strangely familiar
She's
yet.
an icon. Just ask anyone. You know, the best thing about Chair is she's always changing her look through the decades. She always knew just what we wanted to see and served it to us. I really admire that about her.
It's never too late to reinvent yourself.
I change states all day, every day. I know that better than anyone. I just wish I knew which one was best for me. Is
to
there a
pick.
version of me you like best? Water? Steam? Ice? some form in between?
You really put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
River wasn't exactly holding your gaze
Oh.
before, but she seems intensely uncomfortable now. She looks everywhere but at you.
Look, I've been here way too long. If you don't need anything from me, I'm going to go.
Wait. Just
She is gone.
okay. Well, all right. I kind of screwed that one up, but that's okay. Okay, it's okay. So wait, I talked to this. I didn't talk to this, right? Let's look through again. Stella. Oh, I wanted to see. Oh, I can't even talk tonight, but I wanted to see if because there's Dorian as the front door, but maybe someone else is the back door. I need to check that. So far.
David is obviously becoming desperate, and he doesn't do well under pressure.
Right.
I'm worried his behavior will gradually become increasingly erratic until he crosses a line he can't come back from.
Of course. That sounds really bad.
You have no idea. I should never have put you in this situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Naively, I believed as Valdivian's lowest paid employee, you would be safe. But it's become clear that as long as you possess the Dateviators, you'll be the target of David's wrath.
Yeah, you're gonna get me
I have a
assassinated.
solution.
What's that?
Use the realization recipes to bring Skylar to life. If Skylar becomes human, the Dateviators will instantly cease to operate. And if the Dateviators cease to operate, there will be absolutely no evidence implicating you in their theft. Realize Skylar and destroy the Dateviators before David unleashes his full fury upon you. He has access to resources you'd never believe.
What kind of
I'm
resources?
afraid there's just no time. You see, I forgot to charge my phone's battery last
Yeah,
night, and I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
charge it because But remember, realize Skylar.
Yeah. You just talk a lot, man. You just talk all day, all night. Just talk and talk and talk. Okay. Starting the day off. Okay, Dorian is my front door. Let me talk to my back door. Chance.
Well, look at that.
Back
You've got another
Dorian.
friend. True portal in arms, just like
Okay.
myself.
That's a funny bit. I like
Keep it
that.
up. It feels better and better the more you do. Trust me.
Dorian stands directly in your way, unmovable and unimpressed.
What are you looking at?
The back of your head?
That's right. It's facing away from you because I need to stay alert on the goings on outside.
Okay. Why can't I open you?
The time isn't quite right. What you need to focus on is inside the house. If you want to speak about why, talk to front Dorian.
Use evil twin?
I'm the same as him. I'm just facing the other way. There isn't an evil board in my body. I've been straight with you. Now be...
Okay, that's funny. Back Dorian. Okay, let's we did finish that. Okay, is there something in here? Triangle again. Who have I not talked to? I guess I technically haven't talked to the floor. Oh, can I only talk to the floor in specific circumstances? Boopy doop boop boop boo. I don't think I've talked to the toaster. I talked to the air fryer. I don't think I've talked to the toaster.
You hear her before you see her. A charming musician with literal coils of curly hair that swing cutely as she paces back and forth in your kitchen. She's clearly absorbed in something.
Ooh, hello.
She appears to be talking to herself.
Ay, mira. Look at all these crumbs. I'm gonna be writing some great music soon. I can tell. I'm at my most creative when I'm a little messy.
Mm-hmm. I hope you shake out those crumbs.
Shake them out. Shake them out? Just you try to take my migas from me. Watch what happens.
Whoa.
Oh, wait. I'm so sorry that was you trying to flirt with me. See, I see it now. Oh, that was really... It was creative.
No, I meant it literally, but yeah, I guess
Not
it was.
effective, but still cute.
She picks up her guitar, striking a glamorous pose.
I'm Miranda Dulce Tostadora, lead singer and guitarist of Miranda y las Migas.
You should have performed at the club I was in. You would have done better than good shower.
It's the best musical group around here by a lot.
What kind of music do you play?
All kinds. Pop, Gregorian chanting,
Gregorian chanting.
whatever we feel like. If that dial is on 7, then siete we go.
Gregorian chanting.
Okay, I took a lot of hit from the migas too when I suggested this, but that cheese is so relaxing for real. If I can't sleep, too hot and bothered, put on a little chanting, let my eyes just drift around the paint on the ceiling, and vamos. I'm unconscious in like 2 minutes. Just had a thought. Maybe I'll sing for you sometime.
I'm lucky.
And you would be lucky too. I'm really good. Just stay on my good side. ¿Me entiendes? Oh, and obviously, if you like neat toast, I'm here. Okay, busy, sexy little tostadora with a gig coming up. Time to make the toast. Hasta luego.
Hey. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Are the knives a separate person too?
You find Daisuke where you left him last time.
Okay,
Staring
Daisuke.
intently at dishes on the table. Unlike the last time, however, he has a list in one hand.
Working hard or hardly working?
Hardly working at the moment. There's much to do, and my injuries have slowed me down. In addition to inventory and keeping track of all the dishes, I'm also in charge of deliveries throughout the home. Unfortunately, I am unable to do much in my current condition. I prefer to work alone, but an assistant would be invaluable in this moment.
Oh, yeah, it is my fault.
You wish to right this wrong? Good. I have preparations I must first finish. But return to me again and I will give you instructions on delivery. In the meantime, perhaps you can help me wash these dishes.
Isn't that what the dishwasher's for?
Dishy?
Dishy.
I trust no one but myself with such precious items. Unfortunately, I must trust you with them for now. Do not disappoint me.
I won't. It's kind of hard.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You pick up the dishes and begin to wash. As you work, you feel Daisuke's eyes boring holes into you. It makes you feel...
flustered.
Your hands are shaking. Take care lest you drop one.
Daisuke places a hand on yours, perhaps to steady you, but it has the opposite effect. There's strength and grace in equal measure in his touch.
You need like a blushing,
It
a
makes you
bigger
wonder
blush.
how he might touch you under different circumstances.
Ooh.
Are you listening?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
You managed to finish
Sorry.
washing the dishes without further incident.
For sure.
Well done. This may not be the disaster I assumed. When next we meet, you will assist me with deliveries. Be prepared.
You got it.
Very good. Leave me now. I must review orders and inventory. Farewell.
Farewell. Hold on, let me look at, let me look. I don't want to talk to Skylar. Dr. Skylar, I want to see the voice actors for... Who's this guy? Steve Plum. Not River. Dante is Dante. Yeah. Thought so. Jonah Scott. Okay, so it wasn't, I didn't think that one was, I think I've seen who, Damien from Smosh, his character looks like. I don't remember it now, but I know it was, like, more colorful. And then, oh, Erica is this one? Oh, I definitely need to play through that one another time. On my own, I just didn't want to do that now. The newborn, yep. Who is Hove? Oh, no, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Alright, Skylar app. Skylar app.
Hey, how's
Oh.
your day going? Forging some new relates? That's short for relationship. I think about this stuff a lot.
Okay, I guess.
Okay's better. How about a nice menu? I have lots of different ones, all different styles. Here's the main one. Welcome! What can I do for you in my main menu?
Can I realize you, Skylar?
No.
No?
Well, just not yet.
What do you mean?
When Franklin least made me, it was in a sort of a mad, passionate rush of scientific fervor. There were unintended consequences, like realization, which is a good thing.
Is it though?
Definitely a good thing, pretty much. But one of the issues with realizing an object is that each of us can only leave once our own little purposes are complete. Some of us here still have things to do before we go. I call it unfurnished business.
Clever.
Thank you very much. It's trademarked. Each of us can't become a human if we have unfurnished business. Reasons we need to appear in this house. None of the others know why exactly this is, or what it might be that we need to do. Oh, but I'll always tell you when I see it, and forbid you from realizing that individual. As for me, well, I have the most unfurnished business out of anyone. I have to be here to help everyone else get realized, so I gotta go last.
Everyone else?
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you want me realized, you have to get everyone else realized.
Okay,
too.
so it'll be only everything in my house that gets turned human, and then that's it. That's it of the glasses, and then the glasses are gone forever. But that also means everything in my house is gonna turn human, and I have to rebuy everything in my house. Okay, I see now what my quest is.
Keep finished.
Cool. Okay, what's this now? Oh. Dude.
Ah, it's me, Tinfoil Hat.
Yes. Where else am I gonna be?
Good point. I'm still receiving data from the Dateviators. Why haven't you brought Skylar to life and destroyed them? I realize all the objects are flirty and super hot, but as long as the Dateviators exist, David will be hunting you. And you don't have a chance. He has a whole island just to practice hunting people. There's definitely no people hunting going on here, island.
Okay, that's concerning.
He's so clever, but I'm on to him.
I can't realize her.
You can't realize her? Oh dear. This must be unfurnished business. Undoubtedly from too many reanimation gluons in the plasmonic nanogenerators. Oh, I was afraid of this. My calculations showed it was a possibility, but I didn't realize it was unavoidable.
Very
All right,
bad news.
change of plan. If unfurnished business is inevitable, then you'll... Any questions?
Like 100,
I'm
honestly.
so sorry. I'm illegally piggybacking off of my neighbor Howard's Wi-Fi, and he just found out. He's only 11, but he's got a black belt in Taekwondo, and he's a real big kid. Realize all the objects, so you can...
I like the bit of, like, clearly having enough time to respond to, like, something else, but just saying, like, I have no time. And the reason changing every single time. I have no time. My pinky toe got stubbed, and now it hurts. I have no time.
The frazzled figure standing before you has the sort of overworked and underpaid co-worker energy you've not seen since you started working from home. She startles when she sees you looking at her, dropping a number of office supplies clutched in her arms.
Oh my god.
You can see me?
Yeah, I can see.
You can see me! Oh my god, you've walked by me for so long without looking at me.
Yeah, well,
Office Romance Magazine was right. Maybe this really is my year.
you're stable to each other, but is it healthy? 7 tricks to keep your love from drying out. Permanent and dry erase solutions to a relationship. White out your exes. 5 ways to keep that typo out of your life. Oh, sorry, I guess I didn't notice you before.
Office Romance Magazine said that you'd say that too. It's all happening! It said my love life was totally gonna be on fire this year. And fires, as we all know, are a very good thing. Oh gosh, listen to me babbling at you. You don't even know my name.
Probably a good place to start.
Yes, yes, I'm Penelope. And I'm your office supplies.
Penelope. Hello. Love the googly eyes on her skirt.
Which boy, let me tell you, you sure haven't used those in a while.
Well, everything's online now.
Yeah. But it's great that you're here, though, because now you can bear witness.
To what?
To the resurrection of Penelope office supplies! So what if no one's using me like they used to? I'm not dead yet.
You're so right, Queen.
Anyway, your daily motivational office quotes calendar put it best. Your most important work is always ahead of you, never behind you. Now, what do you think that means?
Is always ahead of you, never behind you. Time to look to a brighter tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that too. Yeah.
Was it that ass?
But I'm pretty sure this is saying I've got an ass that won't quit, and it's time I make sure everybody knows it.
Okay.
Anyway, to that end, I've got a hot date with a cross trainer. You got any advice for me?
Just be yourself.
A little boring, but all right.
I have arrived to do battle.
Is this the treadmill? Yeah.
Oh, there he is. I assume he means date?
I meant just what I said. Prepare yourself.
Wow. Right. Love it. See you later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if the treadmill was a different person from Dunk, but clearly he is, so maybe I need to talk to him too. I can finally I just want to meet everybody before I start picking a story. Let's see how the date went.
You're forced to crane your neck upwards as you try to take in the entirety of the blonde Viking towering over you. He stares down at you, cutting a truly intimidating figure.
Boom, boom. I wonder if the yoga ball is separate too.
He says nothing for several minutes. You begin to wonder if perhaps your cross-trainer is broken.
Oh, he's firing himself up. Kristoff. You okay?
What is oak hay? I am not an oak, and what do trees have to do with hay?
It means are you alright?
I see. You must be foreign. You speak strangely, but I am willing not to kill you, yet. We seem to be communicating.
Kill me?
Of course! Would you not try to kill a stranger who woke you from a dream of battle with large-breasted opponents?
Murder wouldn't be my first instinct, personally.
Why not?
I don't enjoy violence all that much.
You are most definitely foreign. I love violence. Between the violence and a strong, dark ale. Who am I kidding? They're both excellent. In fact, let's partake, shall we? I feel it. The surge of violence within me.
Come
to me at this place with your weapon. Next we meet.
With my weapon.
And glory.
Alright, man. I'll bring a gun. See what you do against that. Okay, let's talk to the fan. finally. Man's been standing here
You've
this whole
never
time.
been
Oh,
famous a day in your
hey.
life, but as you try to evaluate the excitable figure blatantly
This is
staring
cute.
at you,
Cute design.
can't help but wonder if perhaps this is how it feels. She looks at you like you've just announced she's won the lottery, her eyes wide and her jaw dropped.
Oh my god, this cannot be real. I must be dreaming, right? This is totally a dream. It has to be.
Wait, is it?
Yes,
Wait, it
that's
is?
That's clearly the most logical explanation. Right now, I am comfortably asleep in my bed, zonked out on Ambien, listening to the calming drone of my white noise machine. Because this right here, there is absolutely no way on Earth this could actually be happening, right?
Believe it, sister.
Oh my god, it really is you.
She turns away from you for a few moments, fanning at her face.
Okay, I got a fan girl. That's funny.
I just can't believe it.
The fan is a
I mean,
fan
you prepare your whole
girl.
existence for something like this, but then, when it actually happens, no amount of preparation could ever possibly be enough. I know that people throw around the expression shaking, crying, and throwing up, but I think I might actually do it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't. Please don't do that.
Wait, did I say that out loud? Ugh, I don't know why I even said that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's just that my heart's racing a mile a minute, and there's definitely not enough oxygen getting to my rotors, which means I'm liable to blurt out just about any random thing that pops into my head. Taxidermy, penicillin, Ontario. See, just like that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about. You know,
Are you
you're
kidding?
cool.
I'm making a total fool of myself. I'm sorry. I really don't mean to be overreacting like this. I just never thought we'd actually get the chance to interface like this. And now that it's happening, I'm totally blowing it, aren't I?
It's okay. Everyone gets nervous sometimes.
You get nervous too?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Would you allow me the opportunity to just reset this whole interaction so I have the chance to put my best blade forward?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate it. Okay, here goes. Hi there. I'm Fantina. And if it wasn't
Fantina.
painfully obvious from my over-the-top outburst a moment ago, I am your biggest fan.
He's so cute. I love this design. Wow, that's so cool.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel that way.
Hang on! My content aware is going off. Fantina is your biggest fan. You cool with that? Or you want to skip it? Carry on.
I've been a huge admirer of yours since the second you brought me home from that discount electronics outlet all those years ago. Just everything about you is so unbelievably impressive. I'm constantly in total awe.
In awe of me?
It's true. I've never known anyone so inspiring. The way you wash the dishes, making sure they're sparkling clean even before you place them in the dishwasher.
Wow. Yeah, that is pretty
The way
admirable.
You have a strict daily routine with every single minute pre-planned weeks in advance.
I don't know if I
The
do
way you
that.
always file your taxes 3 months before they're due. Oh,
Yeah.
there truly aren't words for how incredible you are.
Thanks.
See? Even the way you express I really don't want to bother you any more than I already have, and I know your time is extremely valuable, but I was just wondering. No, it's silly. Forget I ever said anything.
Tell me, what is it?
I was just wondering if it's not too much trouble.
You want my autograph, don't you?
Would you be willing to sign one of my blades?
Yeah, I can always make time for fans.
Just so I have something to remember this amazing
Both
moment.
metaphorically and literally.
Only if it's not too much trouble, though. I really don't want to inconvenience you.
Of course.
You take the permanent marquee Fantina holds out to you and score
Marquee?
your signature along one of her blades.
Oh boy, wow, that feels really nice.
Oh. glad you think so.
Yum. Oh, thank you so much. This is
Okay,
so
felt like it got a little
amazing.
sexual there when I thought I was just giving an autograph, but that's
And
okay.
Your handwriting is so immaculate.
My handwriting is not immaculate.
With that pen, I didn't realize
You
I was
are
in the presence
blind.
of such a talented calligrapher.
That's because you're not.
Stop being modest. You should design wedding stationery or tattoos or something.
No,
Wow,
definitely can't.
I can't believe I actually got your signature. And emblazoned on my own body, no less. Very naughty. I can't wait to show this off to everyone else in the fan club. They are going to be so unbelievably jealous I met you.
Fan club?
Wait, you don't know? I thought for sure you knew.
Who was in this fan club?
You have a fan club.
The AC guy, are they also all oscillating fans?
No. They're just fans of you. We actually have meetups every week. We talk about everything you've been up to at work, what new projects you're developing, discuss your menu for the week. Sometimes there's a raffle. There's a very comprehensive agenda.
How do everyone feel about Thursday's lasagna?
They were so impressed. Gruyere was such an inspired choice. Maybe next time you should include some Fontina. Get it? Fontina, the cheese. It sounds like Fantina, the fan. That's just a taste of the hilarious banter you can expect at the gatherings.
That is pretty funny.
No! Actually, we're having our weekly meetup real soon, and I would never want to impose or overstep, so please tell me if this seems inappropriate, but if you're not super busy...
Let me think about it.
Thinking about it is all I could ever ask for. I really hope to see you back here then, and I promise it'll be an incredible experience. And thanks so much for the autograph.
Yeah, no problem. That's just what it's like being me. You know, you got fans everywhere wanting to talk to you, wanting to, you know, get things going with you. I don't know what this is. Like soap and stuff?
A stylist
Oh.
with a very vertical,
Hi, makeup.
very pink hairdo appraises you, lifting his glasses to take a better look at you. His face is kind, his features soft, and his makeup? Oh, impeccable.
Ah, makeup.
How about we...
What?
Oh dear. I think I'm getting lost right at the start of all this. I'm so sorry, darling. My brain runs quicker than cheap mascara sometimes. Stupid Barry, disposable Barry, you're doing it again. Oh, just stop talking.
What's happening? Can we start over?
I would like that, yes.
He takes a deep breath, shaking off his awkwardness and giving you a friendly smile.
Let's take this from the perfectly coiffed top, shall we? My name is Barry Styles.
Barry Styles.
One-stop shop for looking good, feeling great. Not that I have to work too hard at that because, and I don't know if I made myself clear enough on this point, darling, but you are looking fabulous.
Barry Styles.
I'll be honest, because I like to be clearer than a freshly unblocked pore, I really don't like talking about myself, hun. I'd much rather talk all about you. And eyebrow hydration, of course, you really cannot underestimate.
Eyebrow
how important it
hydration.
is to avoid a thirsty brow, baby.
I don't know if I've ever specifically hydrated my eyebrow. Thirsty brow.
But mostly, I want to talk all about you. In fact, if you'd be so gracious as to indulge me, I'd love to really get under the skin.
Literally?
Oh, not literally, obviously. My products are for external use only.
Okay.
I mean, can I ask you a few questions?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, fabulous, darling. Okay. This is super exciting. I just love learning about what other people like. I haven't yet met with a taste I can cater to. So, with that in mind, I simply have to ask. Drum roll. Favorite brand of tweezer?
Tweezers, huh? I like the tweezers that came in this little kit my grandma gave me. Let me think I have a preference. Sure.
Let's hear it, my little kitten. Tweeze me.
College Response Cycline brand.
Ooh, classy choice. Polished Response's line of beauty products is second to none, except for the cases where they aren't. Everything they put out emphasizes sleek form factors that promote keen aesthetic without sacrificing functionality. You wouldn't think tweezers could turn heads, but when you pull a Polished Response product out of your handbag, the only way it won't get noticed is if they're being upstaged by your Polished Response handbag. So, let me just make a mental note. No need to actually write it down. Got a mind like a steel trap. At least when it comes to tweezers and tweezer-related lifestyle choice. Ask me to remember a job interview or doctor's appointment, and I can't help you. But random air conditioner trivia? I could give you that for days.
I feel that. Except I don't have a specific thing that I like remember really good. I think I just have a bad memory. What's the next question?
Sorry?
I think you were asking questions?
Right. The critical path. Let us continue right on down with...
What is your deepest, darkest secret?
Oh dear. Too deep, too quickly. I like surface level. Here, I'll do it. Barry, what's your favorite lipstick color?
Barry, what's your Oh, I'm asking the question.
Good one. A classic of a beauty question. We can't have a beauty Q&A without knowing your favorite lipstick color, can? Mine is pink. Impressive, no?
Rather impressive.
That's what I said.
Impressive.
What, pray tell, is yours?
Pink, red. I think I would probably. I don't like lipstick, really. I don't like lipstick. I like lip gloss. Oh.
Moving on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That sounded threatening. Anyway, third cue. What do you think is the biggest reason to wear makeup?
You're confident.
Yeah, I get that. We all have things we're self-conscious about, and I think makeup helps. It's one of the things I love most about what I do, helping someone get that boost they need. It's not the lippy and the eyeshadow that makes a person look good, like truly good. It's how someone
Oh, I
carries
like
themselves,
Barry.
you know?
Like, really anxious, like, makeup artist.
Sorry, I spoke a lot again. Of course I did. I'm an overshare. Need to stop that.
It really is fine. You don't have to keep apologizing for being you.
Still looks embarrassed, but a sweet little flush comes over his pale cheeks, and he smiles at you.
Well, darling, that about wraps up the cues. It was gonna be a big 20-question thingy, but I just didn't do it, I suppose. Plus, I forgot half the ideas I had for it when I thought about combs for an hour.
That's okay. I had fun with it.
Really? That's wonderful, darling. I had a lot of fun too. I really hope we can have another.
Oh, I like
fabulous chat again.
Barry. Oh. Okay. Is bathtub separate from shower? And is okay, gotta do. Did I do rubber ducky? Hold on, I might have done rubber ducky. I swear I saw rubber ducky. Wait, wrong. Data decks. Someone with a rubber ducky. Rubber ducky, you're the one. It makes bath time so much fun. Rubber ducky, I don't know the rest of the words. Ba-da-ba-da. Rubber ducky, you're so What's another one? You're so cool. You made bath time not uncruel. Rubber ducky. Maybe I haven't met the rubber ducky. Let's see it. I think it might be a sidekick type thing. What the? Okay. Some of this stuff looks like so let's talk to bathtub.
Most everything in your home is pretty standard. You may have inherited a lovely one, but it's not exactly what anyone would call luxurious. So when you find yourself bowled over by the nearly suffocating air of luxury and privilege in your bathroom, it's easy enough to
Hi! Thanks for the follow, Vicky. How's it going?
a beautiful stranger in
Oh.
a luxurious sud-lined bathrobe stands before
Welcome
you,
in.
resplendent in black and gold. Her hair and skin
Oh, my bathtub
have a
is really
distinct
pretty.
shine to them, as though she just stepped out of the
Like
bath.
a bath bomb. Earrings. That's pretty cute.
She strides forward, grabbing you by the arm.
Oh my god, it's about time you showed up. I ordered hours ago and the pizza's free if you're late. Wait a minute. Where's my pizza?
Oh, I'm not a pizza delivery person, so sorry. So sorry. Pizza?
If you don't know what a pizza is, I'm not going to explain it to you.
Whoa. Okay, I know what a pizza
Well, you're not
is.
good at your job.
I'm just not the pizza delivery
She squints
person,
at you,
okay?
looking you up and down.
Wait. You look familiar. Don't I know you?
Yeah, I sure hope you do. This is my house.
Oh! Oh my god, that's you!
Yep. Yep. Like how her hair thing kind of like connects to this and makes it look like one of those like old phones. I really love all the designs in this
Laughs,
game.
her entire demeanor changing.
Hey, cutie. It's about time you came to introduce yourself to the Queen of Clean.
Oh, this is one of the. Isn't this one of the? This sounds like. I know this person. I've only seen them in like one thing though. I think they're a critical role person, or maybe just in the general like TTRPG like field. But I'm pretty sure this is one of the people who was in the like Dimension 20 like villainous playthrough they did. The voice actor.
Name's Bathsheba, though I'm sure you know that.
Maybe not though. I could be completely wrong, but it sounds like one of the people from that.
Yes!
And I wouldn't be surprised considering all the things they got. All the voice actors they got.
Still don't know where my pizza is, but that's okay. You're here now, so you can go get me one.
You sure are comfortable keeping orders.
Well, yeah. I am a princess. But not literally, but basically. Well, fine. If you're not gonna feed me, maybe you can feed me. You got any good goss for me? Some nice
Good goss. Can't you ask your friends for that?
Sure. I mean, I have tons of friends. Miss Popular here, that's me.
She doesn't have any friends.
But you're here now, and they're all so far
What hot
away.
goss do I have? Oh, I heard that Drisdale and Washer are not talking at the moment. That's the only goss I have.
Very, very real friends, of which there are many. All right, since you're so unwilling to help little old me, you should ask those special glasses of yours to get me some friends who will.
You don't. I'd love to help. Sure, lady.
Goody! We'll start next time I see you then. And bring a gift next time, won't you?
Okay.
Just good manners, you know.
Oh, I like the rich lady who doesn't have friends. Okay, so the rubber ducky is separate. Then we'll do the rubber ducky.
A very yellow punk dressed in studded leather glares at you. Their charming, bat-like appearance does nothing to diminish the aura of absolute disdain that radiates from them.
Rubber ducky, why are you so punk?
Who the duck are you?
Oh. Who the duck are you?
I asked first.
I asked second.
Then I'll ask third. Like this is a ducking competition. Who the duck are you, jerkwad?
I'm the owner of this here house.
And I'm the owner of this dick. Careful. It bites. Now, get out!
Okay. Rebel? The rubber ducky is crazy. Okay.
Oh my god! I have never felt my content aware go off like this. This ducky is dangerous.
You got that right.
This one gives off very sexual energy, very profanity-laced energy, very everything. If you're the least bit turned off by anything rude, I'd skip this one.
I dare ya.
Say,
Okay, they're just a little rude. It's okay. We can handle that.
show.
Show? What do you think I'm giving it away for free, Four Eyes? Show's over. Everybody get the duck out.
Alright, Rubber Ducky is not. I was singing you a song and everything about how you make bath time so much fun and you hate me. So that's sad. Okay. What else? What else do I have? I don't want to talk to Skylar. I really don't. I want to find more people. I want to talk to every single thing I can before I go and talk to like before I go down like a specific path, but I might have to go down a specific path in order to unlock more people. Okay, wait, let's look at rumors again. Celia. I need to talk to the ceiling. Daisuke. Yeah, Daisuke is the dishes. Oh, Dishy, the dishwasher. Okay, let's try those two. Celia. How do I talk to Celia? Oh, there it goes.
Be there in a moment.
An utterly charming secretary hurries into view, giving you an apologetic nod.
Hello there. What can I do for you?
Hi.
Her greeting is cut short as she seems to recognize you mid-sentence.
Oh, you're the floor.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's the human.
Boom.
Whoa.
Lawrence. Here's at the play.
Well, I wasn't expecting you today. Oh, golly, I must look an absolute mess. You must be here for Mayor Celia.
Yep. I have an appointment with the mayor. I don't know how you guys elected a mayor or what type of things the mayor is doing, but yeah. Yeah, I'm here to see how are you, Florence? Let me ask.
Oh, I'm fine. Great even. Surprised that you even remembered little old me. Means the world. The mayor's a little busy today, but I can pencil you in to see her as soon as possible, if you'd like.
Sound like a great. Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna push
She
to.
twirls a strand of dark hair around her finger, blushing sweetly.
Would you care for some tea while you wait?
Oh yes, yes, please.
Perfect
Love
timing.
tea.
Just so happens I've got a kettle all nice and ready.
Yet again, I'm struck by the fact that they're using my groceries and making stuff, which is nice because I don't have to make it. But also at the same time, are you guys making stuff with my food when I'm not there and eating it?
How do you take it?
I don't know. I don't understand. Ooh, with a shot of whiskey. I definitely want sugar, so sorry.
Oh, that's my favorite too.
I'd rather not the milk, but I'll get
think
milk
I'll
and
pour
sugar.
myself a cup while I'm at it.
Oh, she spilled
Florence
it.
stumbles, pitching forward onto her hands and knees. The tea spills all over the floor, though thankfully the cup doesn't shatter.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Gosh, that just
On the
felt
white carpet. Oh god.
right on the carpet of my good jacket. Oh, that's gonna sting. I'm so sorry, dear. I need to dab this out with a towel right away. Would it be all right if you showed yourself up to the mayor's office? Just this once?
Yeah. Sure, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's okay.
So much, dear. Sorry again about the tea. Oh,
I really
please
wanted
don't
that
tell the
tea.
mayor about this.
Damn.
There she is.
Oh.
The mayor herself. She simply radiates poise and power.
Hello, Miss
She's
Mayor.
an intimidating sort of beauty, but you find yourself intrigued to learn more about her.
So, in summary,
Who's this? The bar? Oh, the little bar
If I
thing.
could get a little more foot traffic around my bar, I'd get more business.
Oh, Beverly, I understand your concern.
Beverly.
But what do you expect us to do, dear? We already put up posters and held fundraisers. We can't just move the
Fundraisers?
fridge, stove, toilet, and everyone else out of the way to clear foot traffic every night.
We could try that.
Bev,
Fine.
trust me. We're doing everything that we can.
This outfit is killer. Like, she is so sharp. I like this one too. These like sleeveless drinks here. Her hair is the beverage. This also, okay, I can bring them to life, right? I have to bring all of them to life in order to bring the glasses to life and stop using the glasses. But when she comes to life, is her hair gonna be liquid still? What's gonna happen? Is her hair just gonna become like ginger, just like average hair ginger? I don't know.
All right.
They're gonna look way less cool if they become real, I think.
I'll be back. I'm sure you will, darling.
How is River gonna become a human? River is water.
Celia presses an
Whoa,
intercom
okay.
button on her.
Florence, dearest, send the next one in.
Yes, miss.
Mateo!
Hello, Mateo. What can I do for you?
Oh, I have not been hopeful. I have not heard anything about your animals, Mateo. I'm so sorry.
That's a great question, actually. Now that I'm here, I can't even remember. Isn't it funny how that always happens? Right when you need to think of something to say, your brain just sort of goes blank? You know what? It was probably nothing. I don't want to waste your time. I know how busy you are. I'll just see myself out.
Mateo, come. Sit.
Oh, she's
Tell me
nice.
what's bothering you?
Oh.
Right. It's just...
Go on.
It's Lux. They're kind of pulling cords around the house, refusing to pick up after themselves, keeping the whole bedroom up late with their streams.
Oh yeah, Lux is an asshole. I met
It's
them.
really been stressful for the inanimals. And I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but it's just been a lot, and...
All right, Mateo, all right. Lux, you said.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have someone take care of it.
Thank you.
Okay, she's getting shit done. Who is that? Some part of the wall I haven't talked to?
Hello,
A wall.
darling.
Yes, I have talked to the wall.
Yes, I remember from last week. It's on the docket.
All he says is wall. Okay, that's
Nothing of
funny. That's really funny.
Next. Oh.
Is it me? Okay.
It's you. I don't believe we've formally met. Mayor Celia. I'm also the president of the HOA. That's Home Objects Association.
Hmm. Hello, Miss Mayor. Nice to meet you.
Here's my card. But really all you ever need to do if you need me is to simply look up. What can I do for you today?
Try to get the try to get the lay of the land, and I wanted to meet the mayor. Nothing specific. I'm just going around talking to everyone.
Well then. Hello. Meeting successful. Never a bad idea to make sure everybody knows your face. We're important here. Some sit back and wait for others to plan things. Others simply do them. You and I, we're doers.
You're so right. We're doers. We're proactive. We do things. We don't laze around and just, you know, procrastinate up to the last minute and then do everything the night before and somehow it manages to get done by the skin of our teeth. No. We do things. We get them done. I don't know. I'm kind of an introvert, to be honest with you, Miss
Hardly
Mayor.
precludes you from getting things done. It just means that you do them quietly.
You know what? You're so right.
You seem like a reliable sort. I wonder if I might ask you a favor.
Favor?
It's
Ooh.
about my assistant, Florence.
Oh, okay. You seem sweet.
She is an absolute dear. Although sometimes I fear it gets her into trouble.
Hey,
She's
what's
such
up?
a kind thing. But that means she lets people walk all over her.
Mm.
Sometimes I worry the wrong sort might be taking advantage of her.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that whenever we go to lunch together, she never seems to buy herself.
Okay, this is a good mayor. Noticing things about, you know, your assistant who's typically, you know, treated poorly. This is a good mayor.
What's more, she's been pinching every penny you've dropped on her like a miser. I suspect she might be having financial issues.
Financial issues with what? What is your guys' economy? What's happening? Is she in debt? Who loaned her money? It is now making her pay it back. How is she in financial trouble?
Office pays her well, of course. She's an invaluable assistant. I think it's possible someone might...
She's getting extorted for money. From who and for what reason?
I'd like to formally ask for your help. I may be her boss, but Florence would never give me a straight answer if she thought it might upset me. However, she's quite friendly with strangers. And technically speaking, as the owner of the house, you outrank me.
Oh, I'm like the
You could get
president.
something out of her.
Like the president around
What do you
here.
say? Would you do me a favor and look into this matter? Quietly?
Yeah. I'll keep an eye out for sure.
Thank you. I'll be waiting. Hopefully it's nothing.
Ah, I hope
What
so.
else do you need?
Just wanted to see you. That's it.
You have done so. Keep well.
Cool. Okay. Floor and ceiling talk to. Haven't talked to wall. Can talk to wall now.
How does one even describe a warrior like this? A veritable, well, wall of muscle stands before you. It's almost comforting to know the walls of your house are this solid.
Well, if we're in America, it's all drywall and not
Whoa.
super solid, you know.
Wall, 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 wall!
Wall.
Wall.
What the literal fuck? Hello.
Wall.
How are you?
Wall, wall, wall!
Are you just repeating what I'm saying about what wall?
He beams at you, a flush spreading across his cheeks. I love you!
What? Okay, a confession. Oh. Oh. That's all you have to do to get love from Wall? Okay.
Oh. That was sudden, wasn't it? You and Wallace, who has only just introduced himself to you, are now lovers. His gaze
We're
settles on you,
lovers.
filled with tenderness.
Kind of one-sided
His
lovers, don't
drywall
you
heart
think?
beats only for you. You live happily ever after. Yes, just that quickly.
Okay, my first lover, and it's the Wall, who kind of just decided he was my lover. Alright. Okay. What else in this damn house have I not talked to? I guess I haven't talked directly to Koa. I can do that. And I will do that.
Seated in your living room is a being who seems to truly embody the concept of comfort.
He does
His
look very
arms are
comfortable.
draped over the back of the couch, his head tilted back, and his eyes beginning to flutter shut. He looks just as though he's about to fall asleep, but when he sees you approaching, he shakes it off, looking up at you with a sweet smile.
Hello. Hello. I hope I didn't wake you.
Don't worry, I hadn't fallen asleep yet. You ought to come get in on this too.
Oh.
He packs the
Dual
seat
nap
next to
time.
him.
Come on and take a load off. I'm Koa, by the way.
Hi, Koa.
Here, oi.
Nice to meet you.
Most everyone would continue the conversation from here, but Koa only closes his eyes, sighing pleasantly.
Enjoying the silence. You know,
You
I
wait for him
can
to say something.
I can get with
All
that.
you can hear is his quiet breathing.
Did you want to be alone?
No, that's okay.
Koa opens one eye, but he doesn't move.
I just thought you might like to share in all this comfort, you know? House culture is really all about taking it easy together. You know, like, you ever heard people talk about alone together?
Yeah, I love that, actually. Like, let's be alone and, like, be doing our own thing, but in the same room. So I like when there's, like... I like, when there's a group of people hanging out, because I tend to, like, fade in social energy at times, and I can just, like... If two people keep themselves, like, talking, and I can, like, fade in the background and, like, you know, disconnect for a couple minutes, that's like peak. Which is why my friend group in college worked so well, because we were a trio, and they could match each other's energy most of the time and just keep it going between them, and I could, you know, keep quiet and just listen and enjoy the company, or even, you know, do my own thing. It was cool. Yeah, I love that.
Right on, right on. You get it then.
I do get
wish
it.
more people understood the beauty of alone together. It means you can be at peace with another being without even saying a word. It means not forcing a conversation or an activity between the two of you. It means just enjoying the moment without any expectations.
He sighs pleasantly, closing his eyes.
Guess I'll give it a shot then.
Beautiful. You'll see.
Koa breathes in deep, sighing pleasantly.
Taking a nap
When he
together.
relaxes, the entire room seems to relax with him. You find yourself growing sleepier alongside him. You're not sure how much time passes as the two of you sit side by side in companionable silence, but it's certainly a good while.
Thanks for keeping it chill, buddy. This was real nice.
I enjoyed that,
Something I
Koa.
want to give.
Oh, some change. Thanks. Whoa, free money.
It's not free, it's your money. You know, in couch culture, we're not big on expressing ourselves verbally. We prefer to let our actions speak for us. And a gift like this, it's just a way of honoring our friendship.
Aww. I'm touched.
I'm just glad you appreciate it.
Koa yawns.
I'm gonna take a nap. Feel free to stick around as long as you want.
Oh, I like the pillows right next to his neck. That's cute.
I'm just so comfy.
Okay. That was cool. I already knew that though, because I had dinner at his thing on a separate date. Okay, is the fireplace different from the wood? Because it's two different like highlights. I did the big fireplace and then there's the wood. I don't know. Are the faucets something? Okay, this isn't someone. Okay. Oh, the bar. I need to talk to the bar.
A bartender drums her fingers on the countertop, clearly bored out of her mind. Her long red-orange hair is pulled back into a ponytail that flows down her back, like the drinks she pours so expertly. She makes herself a drink, taking a small sip of it and setting it down. Your entrance startles her so badly, she nearly knocks it over.
Oh no!
Someone's here. Welcome to my humble bar, the Tipsy Tumbler.
Tipsy
I'm
Tumbler.
Beverly, but you can call me Bev, or Beverly, or Madam Proprietress. That would be so cool.
Hi, Madam Proprietress.
I'm the owner and bartender and janitor and stockroom attendant. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh my god.
Hiya.
You are really cool. See, okay. She turns human. Is this real liquid? Does it just, again, you know, the whole realization thing makes
Beverly
me a
squints,
little like,
frowning as she
I don't
seems to
know
be
how the
considering
physics
something.
actually works for that.
And then
But
she
okay.
snaps, pointing at you.
Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh, it's you. My proprietor. I can't believe I didn't recognize you. Ugh.
Me?
Yes, you? Who else so charitably bought this adorable mini bar for me so I could set up my dream bar? I owe you a huge debt. You have free drinks for life here. Welcome
Awesome.
to the reopening of the Tipsy Tumbler. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Bev, that's a lot of openings.
It is a lot of
Nothing
openings.
happened the first 6 times you
Opening.
tried to open the bar. Nope, nothing.
Then why have you had to reopen so many times?
Because nothing happened. Not a single customer came.
Not a single one, but it seems like everyone's doing cool stuff.
I've lost an alarming amount of sleep trying to figure it out. So please don't leave. You are literally my first customer in—
Why can't you get any customers? I don't
ever.
understand.
Every time I thought you were finally going to invite people over, I'd polish the place up and prepare to be the best host I can be. But then each time you'd
Whoa.
chicken out and spend yet another weekend all alone.
Hey! Personal attack out of nowhere. Oh my god. Come on now. What? I do have people over. Occasionally. It's just, you know, sometimes it's just a little bit challenging to work up the social energy required to have people over, and you know, I don't really like hosting, and I don't really want to deal with, you know, people in my space and having to clean up, so you know, I end up not doing it. But I can definitely have people over anytime I want.
I mean, why did you get a minibar if you weren't going to invite guests over?
Yeah, I thought getting it would motivate me more to make drinks for people, but, you know, I ended up not wanting to deal with all that hassle, actually.
But that's... okay. It's all water under the bridge.
Right.
You'll have to talk to River if you want that. Anyway, that's enough babbling for me. So take a seat and let me fix you something already. Please, let me fix you something.
Ooh, what kind of drink
First
do
and
I
foremost,
want?
Am I making you a cocktail or a mocktail?
Definitely a
Mocktails
cocktail.
are the non-alcoholic versions of a cocktail. Just as fun and delicious, but without the burn or the drunk part, obviously.
Give me the cocktail.
Excellent. So, what'll it be?
Ooh, a martini. I know a mojito. I don't know all the names, but I think a mojito's decent.
Ooh, so minty and fresh. It's kind of like brushing your
I
teeth
don't know
at
if
the
I had a
bar.
mojito, actually.
That
I should have went
sounded
martini.
more appealing in my head.
Let's
Coming
do
right
my
up?
mojito. Ooh. Pour it out in front of her? That's crazy.
You lift your glass to your lips, taking an extended sip.
How was it?
Really good. Would you learn to mix drinks?
Well, after 6 grand openings, I got a lot of practice in. Plus, with a name like mine, I should know my beverages pretty well. I really don't want to close this place down. I've put my bar and soul into it.
Right, right.
So, will you be my first returning customer?
Sure. Yeah, I'll come back. Get a
Really?
drink sometime.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, thank you. Tell your friends. Tell everyone. Please. And I'll be seeing you next time.
I don't know, Bev. You gotta work on your advertisement or something. There's literally no reason why you shouldn't be getting people in, because everyone is doing something. Wait, are the dish racks something different?
What appears to be a
Oh.
dishwasher with arms, legs, and a disconcertingly cheerful face waves happily at you. You tap the date viators a few
It's
times, wondering if
Dishy.
they malfunctioned. But the mascot-like dishwasher before you doesn't waver or change.
Hello, and welcome to the Valdivian dishwashing
What are
experience.
those sculpted legs? Oh my god.
We offer an alarmingly clean output of all kinds of dishware, clothing, and such.
Clothing?
My name is Dishy. I'm your dishwasher now.
Dishy. Those legs are wild.
To get started, please connect me to your internet so I can get started knowing exactly what I need.
No, not a smart dishwasher. You don't need the internet. What do you need to know from me
I just
exactly?
need to know some basic information. Dishwashing habits, dishwashing preferences, past dishwashers owned, financial records, preferences on fruit flavors. For soap, of course.
Financial records?
Records of finances.
Why do you need those?
I just need to know some basic information. Dishwashing habits, dishwashing preferences, past dishwashers owned, financial records.
No.
Preferences on fruit flavors.
Mm-mm.
First, that's completely fine. We can absolutely operate in offline mode. Would you like to wash dishes?
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful! Please connect to the internet for the best dishwashing experience.
No, not this again.
Are you sure you want to use offline mode? In online mode, the possibilities are limitless.
He's trying to steal my data. What kind of possibilities are we talking here? You just wash
Unlimited
dishes.
knowledge of your habits and data, I can make the absolute best dishwashing choices for you. Imagine plates delivered at the perfect crisply heated temperature. Admire. Nary a crumb nor stain on no single nor multiple dishes. Revel in the dishwashing experience.
I kind of want to see what it'll do if I give it my information. So just do it.
Correct choice. Ah, thank you. That feels much better. Wait just a moment as I get your dishwashing experience
I'm
ready.
gonna sell my internet online or my data online or something.
Dishy falls silent. Perhaps processing.
Beep boop bop. Boop 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 boop.
Okay.
One new update found. Downloading update. Beep boop bop.
Now it's not gonna work as soon as the update is done.
1% downloaded.
Oh my god.
Beep boop bop.
Okay, I'll wait right here.
Beep boop bop. Boop 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 boop. 2% downloaded.
How long can I do this?
Beep boop beep. Boop 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 boop. Beep boop bop. Beep boop bop. Boop 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 boop. 3% downloaded.
I got nothing better to do. This is my last one tonight. I'm just gonna keep waiting for it to download.
2% downloaded.
2%? 2% downloaded now? Dishy, you're up to some foul shit. I know you are.
4% downloaded.
Fine, whatever.
Beep boop beep 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 boop boop. 4% downloaded.
I'm staying here no matter how long this takes. Dishy, update. Just update, Dishy. You only have 4%. Can I say something?
4% downloaded.
I'm a pro gamer and I can beat this stupid thing no matter how stupid. Come on, Dishy. Boop boop beep 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 boop.
100% downloaded.
Yes!
Did
Yes!
you hear that? I said 100% downloaded.
Yes, yes, I knew I could do it. Yes, I heard you.
It's a miracle. Installing. Beep boop beep beep boop.
Oh my god. Come on, Dishy, you can do it. I believe in you. Is she okay?
Beep boop.
Come on, Dishy. It's you and me, Dishy. You and me against the world. It's just us, Dishy. This game thinks...
Congratulations.
Okay.
100% installed.
Goodness.
Human, you patiently stood by my side as I downloaded and installed. Thank you for your patience. This brings a tear to my eyes, which I will promptly rinse away. I will begin account setup. Now, great to see you. Welcome to Dishwasher Setup. You have been assigned one of our 4 perfectly secure passwords. Please select the one that looks the most secure.
Oh. Oh, they're all like... Some of these look the exact same. Oh, they just switched a couple. Okay, do the third one then.
Thank you. You should have gotten a chance to write that down.
No!
Your data means a lot to us.
Oh no.
So much that we will entrust it to ourselves.
Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to use this dishwasher in the future. I have no idea what that number was.
What is your preferred style of dishwashing?
Infinite domination.
Infinite domination! Annihilate your dishes in a tidal wave of destruction!
Yeah.
Dish and stain alike are nothing compared to my might! Unleash the whirlpool!
Setup is complete. thank you for entrusting Valdivian with your food.
I see why Daisuke doesn't trust you, Dishy.
Goodbye.
You don't seem reliable to me. I love how they programmed that in. I wonder if I let it play and like wasn't clicking that fast, how long that would have actually taken if I wasn't like spamming it. A new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Where's the goddamn magician stuff? It just disappeared or something? I can't open this box. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Okay, the lamp is Lux, isn't it? Okay, let's look at, what's this app? Rumors. Who have I not met? Platter up. Yeah, I've met Daisuke. There's a magician somewhere, I know that. Who was the singer? The singer was the shower. I need to talk to the shower. The shower might give me someone else. Boom, 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 boom. Hello, shower.
It's jarring to hear someone else's voice singing in your shower. After all, you haven't brought anybody home since you've been here. But this isn't some forgotten paramour from the night before. There's a singer in your bathroom, and he's using your showerhead as a microphone. While his singing may be less than professional, he certainly looks the part. His handsome face is framed by glistening ringlet curls, and his clothing has a sterile, hygienic vibe. Stark contrast to the smouldering, sensitive artist you see before you.
Wet hot love. Wet hot love. Oh, hey! Oh, jeepers.
My shower is Elvis.
I weren't expecting company, especially such a ravishing company. Come right on in, darling. Be sure to wear a shower cap or you're gonna get yourself mighty wet.
Glad I got the non-slip shower mat then.
A mighty fine sense of humor about you, too. It's maybe the best quality a person can possess. Right up there with calf roping.
Calf roping? Okay. You say so.
Well, I'm just as happy as a pig in mud that you decided to stop on in.
Pig in mud.
It's mighty nice to see a new face around these parts. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. And I can tell you're a healthy dose.
Yeah, my voice is definitely going out.
Well, maybe you're more of a cayenne.
Maybe cinnamon. I see myself as a cinnamon.
Ooh, that's sweet. Like nectar straight from the honeysuckle.
Mm.
Unless you ingest a whole spoonful, of course. But you can't fool Johnny Splash. Not 3 times, anyway. Not again. No, sir.
Cinnamon challenge?
Well, I reckon we'll have to get to know each other better to really find out.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, you're mighty welcome. Name's Johnny Splash.
Johnny Splash.
Whoa. And I just want to make absolutely sure whoever saunters over my way is treated with the most respect and hospitality a gentle shower like myself can offer.
Gentle shower? I'll leave a positive review.
Now don't that sound like a hilariously sardonic send-up to our crazy modern world? But being a shower, I don't understand the reference. Here's what I reckon I'd do, though. It's just real darn important that folks keep coming by. Truth be told, it can get kind of monotonous around these parts. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me more.
Yes, sir. The bathroom can be a frighteningly monotonous kind of place. Just duller than dishwater.
Mm-hmm.
Or toilet water, as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think on it for a second here. Would you go to a bathroom to have yourself a good old time? To experience something new and exciting? To meet someone famous or important?
No, definitely not to meet anyone. Yeah, doubtful.
See, that's exactly my point. That's just not what your average bathroom is for. Your common bathroom is a utilitarian kind of joint.
Yeah, you kind of just go in to get a job
Sure,
done at
it's
least.
useful and consistent. But it ain't a particularly lively spot. Ain't no
True.
nightclubs in no bathrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I usually spend all my time doing around here.
Singing in the shower. Using the toilet?
Heck, I wish. Truth is, darling, I spend 99% of my days sitting around doing absolutely nothing at all. Do you know how long it takes the average person to shower?
12 minutes.
Oh, that's positively accurate. It takes the average person 12 minutes.
12 minutes. I'm not like in 30 seconds. Oh, I'm wasting a ton of water.
That's your shower. I ain't here to pass judgment, baby. That's between you and the Department of Water and Power. And God.
Thank
There's no
God.
point about showering. For the average person, it's 12 minutes. I looked it up and everything. 12 minutes of a water spraying, shampoo foaming, washcloth scrubbing routine. And don't get me wrong, those 12 minutes ain't bad at all. But do you know how long a day is?
Mine all feel endless.
Oh, I feel you there, muchacho. Or muchacha. But I don't want to assume. Well, the answer is 1,440 minutes.
Whoa.
Which means my job is quite literally just 1% of my day.
And that's a problem?
It's gosh darn terrible is what it is. See, I'm a shower. If I ain't being used, it ain't like I can just get up and go boogieing down at the dance hall or something.
See, this is where it gets confusing because other appliances are leaving and going to other places. So you as a shower, you were just upstairs singing at the club. So I don't understand. I don't get it.
You can't just hop on over to the mall shop for a milkshake.
You just can't leave your post all the time, I guess. I don't know. No?
No, I'm just here, perpetually stuck in this humdrum, go-nowhere existence. Do you know how that makes me feel?
Terrible?
You're gosh darn right. Sorry for swearing, Mama. It makes me feel unfulfilled, listless, bored stiff, like a scarecrow in a cornfield. Like I want to be stuck here forever. And all my dreams ain't never gonna come true.
No. What dreams?
Gosh darn it. Did I go and say that out loud?
Yeah, you definitely did.
Listen, I don't prefer to talk about that. There just ain't much reason to have your head up in the clouds when your pipes are firmly bolted to the drywall.
I understand that.
To have dreams, but Johnny Splash gets to waste away listening to leaky faucet strip.
Johnny, I understand all this, but the first time I met you, you were performing at the Breaker Boxes Club.
And that's all there is to
So I don't know why you're talking like this now. Please tell me, Johnny, your dream.
What the heck? You done twisted my temperature knob. Now, I reckon I usually don't do this, but you got a trustworthy face. Plus, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit sweet on you. So, I'll tell you my super secret dreams on one condition.
Seems fair.
Come back and visit me again tomorrow. Show me this ain't some meaningless fling for you. Come back around, and I'll share with you the secret I ain't never shared with anyone else before.
Let me check my schedule. I'm very
Oh, well,
important.
see you then. Now you better mosey on out of here quick. Plumbers are coming soon to fix my water pressure issues.
The toilet and this are the same, right?
Bye now.
That's a rapper boy. Is both the toilet and the plumbing in the thing? Okay, wait, let me do rumors again. Magician. Luke. Prepper of popcorn. Oh, the microwave. Not you, it's him. To earn this calamity amnesty, getting rejected might be expected. Dorian mentioned someone named Reggie. Reggie? Haunted attic. Oh, haunted attic? How do I get... Hold on, I gotta find the attic. Sure. The attic. I can't go in this door yet. Have I talked to the toolbox? Oh, I for sure haven't. Okay, what about the hammer? Is the hammer something different?
The handsome construction
Ooh,
worker
hello.
proudly invading your space makes you feel as though you've accidentally wandered into an active building site. He holds up his hands to stop you from going any further, glaring at you as he looks you up and down.
Whoa, whoa! Where do you think you're going?
Whoa, what? Closet?
I can't let you in here without the proper PPE.
Boom.
Yeah.
Tony.
Tony puts his fingers to his mouth and whistles.
Hey, oh, get him out of here!
Hey, hang on a minute, PP.
Your
What?
hard hat, your boots, your high-vis vest. Come on, this is a job site.
This is the breaker box
Don't
closet.
even get me started. Not when Johnny Wannabe next door has got a whole garage to himself. I mean, I'm talking wall-to-wall pegboard, 6 kinds of saws. Oh, he's got this 12-inch auger. Man, those things go deep.
Someone's hot and bothered.
Yeah, well, what can I say? It's professional jealousy. Look, all I'm saying is I want a little more space, too.
That's fair.
For entertaining.
Hosting cocktail parties?
I'm a popular tool. It's always, hi, Tony this, thanks, Tony that, or Tone, my ass is leaking.
Please don't tell me who's.
Jean Lou.
Jean Lou.
Incontinence. You didn't hear it from me, though.
Jean Lou. It's not how HIPAA works.
Anyways, objects need somewhere bigger than this to come see me for what ails them. And, sometimes old Tom might also want to have special company over.
Oh, he has a heart on his hard hat. That's cute.
You know what I'm talking about, huh?
He's got the leveler belt.
Tony nods, grinning smugly at you.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
You know, I like a Tony. You know it, buddy. Woo.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you telling me you don't get out there romantically?
What? I have, but it's
Well, Tony
complicated.
knows complicated, but you could probably pull more partners with better digs.
What does that mean?
Well, doesn't exactly scream Randy Andy, does it? A romantic prospect wants to know that you know your way around the toolbox. That you're good with your hands. A fixer.
Yeah,
This place, doesn't exactly show it.
I mean, it's not like things are
No bells, no whistles, nothing.
Okay, genius. What do you have in mind?
A drawbridge.
A drawbridge? What do you mean by that? Like from ye olden times?
Think about it. Your lover pulls up for a date and the drawbridge lowers to let him in.
We'd have to make a moat around the house too.
Pretty freaking impressive, huh?
Back up, you know how to do that?
Oh yeah, I got everything I need on hand. The flat-looking screwdriver, the pointy star-shaped one, a hammer, and that spearmint gum you've had in here since April.
Very death trappy.
All right, you like it, but you don't love it. I get that. How about this? Indoor slide.
Ooh, I could get down with this.
Stairs,
Okay, not get rid of this. Not get rid of the stairs.
from upstairs to downstairs.
What about Stella?
Hey, yeah, she can get in on this too. She'd become Indora, the indoor slide. Totally fine. Changes like that happen all the time. You just gotta fill out a bunch of boring forms. $200 fee.
I have to pass, sorry.
Sure, of course. Yeah, because an indoor slide would be ridiculous. Now, how do you feel about indoor pools?
Love?
Because we
And
rip out
love?
the floor in the living room, we can get you an indoor pool.
I feel like there's electricity.
But that's what the chewing gum is for. You Just stick some of it in the outlet holes, and Viola, it's now all shockproof. That
Mm.
concludes my remodeling advice. Now, for the actual dating advice, you're just gonna have to sign up for my workshop.
Mm-hmm. Sounds expensive.
Come on, I'm giving it to you for free. Everybody's a critic. I'm gonna make it real easy for you. You wanna take my workshop, all you gotta do is show up. No paperwork or nothing.
Okay,
Now,
Tony.
I don't mean
I
to
might take
hustle
you up
out
on
of
that
here,
then.
But I gotta take lunch. Union rules. But you can come back later and see what we can do. You know,
For
help you
sure,
fix
for
up
sure,
your
for sure.
romantic affairs.
Okay, this is gonna be my last day because my voice is really shot. Alright, you old so and so.
I'll see you around.
Okay. Yoga Ball has to be different, right? Yoga Ball has to not be dunk.
Ah, man, this is
Younger
where the
Ball is
experience is
dunk.
for today. We're meeting at the weight rack. See you tomorrow.
Oh, well, I wasted that. We have 2 more. It is dunk. I was hoping it would be someone new. It's dunk. Okay, what else? Rumor? I know there was something. Oh, wait. I know there was something else. Daisuke. Haunted Attic. Reggie. Oh, Luke is the microwave. That's the other one I was thinking. I talk to microwave. Gotta talk to the microwave.
An armored soldier with absolutely haunted eyes claps you on the shoulder, his iron grip jerking you towards him before you've even had a chance to introduce yourself.
Ranger! Oh, you survived the journey. And with all your limbs still attached.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the immortals you made it here alive.
To who?
He stares at you for a few moments, though he doesn't remove his hand from your shoulder.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were a separatarian.
Separatarian.
In that case, thank the non-denominational person and/or inanimate object that may or may not be eternal with undefined magic powers who may not even exist at all.
Right. Okay, sure. Yeah, for sure.
He starts suddenly, clapping his hand to his forehead.
Oh, and heck, where are my manners? Name's Nukem. Luke Nukem.
Luke Nukem, the microwave.
Look at you.
Hey Fuse, how's it going?
It's been a while since I've seen another face.
Luke Nukem.
Except the faces in the walls, of course. They tell me to burn things, but I try to tune them out.
I'm doing good. Oh, I talked to the fireplace. It's Zuko's voice actor, Dante. That was cool. It's kind of weird hearing Zuko, give me dating advice, but yeah. I like Dante. I've seen a lot of clips of him. He's pretty cool.
Mostly because I already burned everything flammable weeks ago.
Very healthy.
That's exactly what the faces say. Oh, you guys would get along.
Yeah, which face is your favorite?
Lester. He always knows just the right thing to scream.
I don't know what my microwave is telling me right now. He talks to faces.
Anyway, forgive me if my extended isolation has eroded some of my social skills.
I still haven't found Pro ZDs yet. I guess he's gonna be like in one of the places I can't get to right now, but
I've just been stuck guarding this outpost for months. And you spend enough time out here alone, it's real easy to go feral. But don't worry, they have great solutions for that now.
Oh, and when I pre-ordered the second ORV book on Amazon, it says there will be 8 total books, so not that many actually. So they're gonna be pretty thick then. Go feral?
Total biological and psychological collapse. It ain't pretty. Not like you. Sorry. What was I saying?
Yeah, it said 2 out of 8.
Oh, I'm just so excited you weren't obliterated. When I heard Colonel Furnace was sending a division from across the Barrens, I thought for sure swarmers would rip your flesh to shreds and use your blood for fuel before you even made it to the first outpost.
But what war are you fighting, Luke? Use my blood for fuel? Why? Why my blood?
There's plenty of gas. Swarmers are just stupid.
Okay, that makes sense. Stupid swarmers.
You came alone? Where's the rest of your division?
My division? Definitely dead. They're all dead.
Cruck! Swarmers be damned. I'm so sorry, Ranger. May the immortals provide the fallen safe transport to the Underrealm and solace in their everlasting night.
May the immortals provide the fallen safe transport to the Underrealm and solace in their everlasting night.
Luke begins to tear up.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
I wish I could give you more time to decompress. I know you must be exhausted after your journey, but time is of the essence. We have much to discuss, and dangerously little time before
He didn't like me
our
repeating what he
mission
said,
commences.
I guess. Tell me more, you hulky microwave person.
I trust Colonel Furnace briefed you on the mission back in
I
the
will drink water,
fortification?
because my voice is going. Colonel Furnace? Maybe?
Don't worry, Ranger. We all have our private struggles. Me? I'm addicted to setting things on fire.
Oh, I don't want my microwave
But I'm
doing
happy to walk
that.
you through it again. Here's the situation.
Uh-huh.
I have in my possession a handheld electromagnetic device powerful enough to flatten the Barrens entirely.
Right.
From Cape Death to the Death Zone to
Mhm.
Deathtropolis, the Citadel of Death.
Not colon, the Citadel of Death. Oh my
It's called
god.
The Magnetron.
The Magnetron.
Here's an artist's rendering.
Okay. Those look like bombs. Okay. Not Deathtropolis.
Oh yes. I'm afraid the blast zone would completely decimate Deathtropolis in an instant, killing millions. At worst, the fallout would even irradiate the scenic suburb of Deathville, home of the world's widest asparagus festival.
Not asparagus. I love asparagus. No.
Anyway, to keep the device from falling into the wrong hands, it was permanently welded onto my armored exoskeleton, allowing me to transport it to its intended target.
I do love asparagus. Asparagus is one of my favorite veggies, I think. I don't have it enough, but I do hate what it does to your pee.
The Swarmer's subterranean nest. There, the device will be remotely detonated, eradicating the Swarmers and winning this war.
Okay, cool. That's the plan.
Yes, to finally win the war would be very, very cool.
And you are cool,
I need
Luke.
you to meet me back here tomorrow at 0700 hours.
I can't do that.
After a light breakfast of irradiated grubs, I'll walk you through your training and our mission objectives.
Can I have my tendies then?
Ranger, we win this war, and I'll get you all the tendies you can mash into that pretty little face of yours.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, let's really try to focus on the mission, okay?
Amazing.
All right, it's about time for me to begin my nightly patrol. Gotta make sure no swarmers infiltrate our defenses.
Yeah. Take care of them
May the
swarmers.
immortals watch over and protect you.
Hey, may the immortals watch over and protect you as well. Okay, who else? One more. Don't burn at me. Sponges? Sponge is different from... Have I done a vase? I don't know if I've done the vase.
Here you are.
Oh, it's Daisuke still.
I hope you're prepared to work.
Absolutely, Daisuke.
You are to make deliveries to Mitchell, Beverly, and Kopi. Do not return until you have completed your deliveries.
Please rest while I'm gone.
Of course. If you have any questions about the deliveries before you go, now is the time.
Tell me about Kopi's delivery.
You will be delivering coffee mugs to Kopi. Coffee mugs are ceramic cups used to drink coffee.
Right.
I am struggling to think of any further pertinent information.
Don't you hate that when you're like, yes, I'm gonna eat like good food, and then you see a sweet treat and you get distracted? It's actually one of my greatest challenges, is I am weak to sweet treats. What's your relationship with
There's
Kopi?
nothing interesting to tell. She is courteous and makes excellent coffee.
6 bags of hard candies? Okay, yeah. That was a
Our
complete
relationship is
detour.
purely professional. If you have any questions about the deliveries before you go, now is the time.
Mitchell?
You will be delivering plates to Mitchell.
Mitchell?
He uses them to serve food. The food
Oh,
is then
Mitchell
eaten
is
from the plates.
Oh, yes, I know. That's Sebastian's voice actor, the food one.
I do not know what else to say about the plates, so I will stop speaking now.
Are you too cool?
When Freddy leaves the door open, sometimes.
No, like, do you guys,
What?
get along?
Oh, yes. He has very refined taste in food.
Oh yeah, Asian countries have a lot of different, like, flavors. Like, I always get so jealous when people have, like, the, cool Kit Kats from Japan. There's so many flavors. Honestly, though, I probably wouldn't even, like the flavors, because I'm really, like, picky, but, or I wouldn't like them more than chocolate. I just love chocolate so much. But I do still want to try all the crazy flavors.
Feedback on my cooking has been invaluable. I enjoy speaking with him. If you have any questions about the deliveries before you go, now is the time.
Okay. Tell me about Beverly. How are you and
Beverly will be receiving
Beverly?
cups of all shapes and sizes for her drinks, both alcoholic
He still
and
doesn't even give me his name because it's not even here. I have to like deliver stuff and then he'll introduce himself, I guess.
The cups will be used to serve drinks. Beverly has broken more than a few glasses after imbibing
I just seen a
her
video.
own drinks, so you must give her a stern warning to be careful with these.
I saw the creme brulee one you have to put in the oven, or you're supposed to like make it broil. Kind of you to supply her anyway.
While I wish everyone had my respect for the dishes, Beverly does provide a very useful service to the house, and she is appreciative, even if I wish she were a bit less clumsy.
I still haven't tried matcha. It's on my list to try. I know everyone's crazy about it, but
if you have
I
any
don't
questions
know.
about the deliveries before you go, now is the time.
I'm good.
I have nothing more to tell you. You may leave now.
I will leave now, Daisuke. You could say something sweet.
Sugar. Go now.
Missing the point, but alright. I don't know what other things I haven't done. Okay, we're almost through meeting everyone. I love chocolate. I don't like white chocolate though. I don't really consider it chocolate. I'm okay with dark chocolate. The dark chocolate pretzels from Trader Joe's are really good. Okay, I want to do some more. The milk chocolate and the dark chocolate pretzels from Trader Joe's are good, but the dark chocolate ones are the ones I go to now because I feel guilty for eating so much chocolate. So I'm like, yeah, I need to like. Below 90% isn't dark enough. Okay. I love milk chocolate. I prefer milk chocolate to dark chocolate. Not necessarily like Hershey's though, because Hershey's is like, you know. But other chocolates. Who else in this house have I not met? Not you, it's him. Dorian mentioned Reggie. I haven't finished speaking with Daisuke, I guess. There's a magician somewhere. Reggie? Oh, maybe I haven't been in my office enough. Yeah, I've heard that US chocolate is weird, but, you know. Grown up on it, so... tastes good to me. Reggie would be a what? Self-love. Desk chair is different from... no, still chair. Paper. Probably bookman. Build it with oxygen. I feel like I've done everyone. Ugh. I guess I should do the Daisuke thing. And just deliver him the stuff. So he'll introduce himself to me. Finally. So let's do that real quick.
Welcome to Roofbox.
Talk to
What
Kopi.
can I get for you today?
I have a delivery.
Huh? Oh, the new coffee mugs. Just set them over here, please. All right. Thanks for that. How come Daisuke wasn't able to come himself, by the way?
He got cracked.
That dish really needs to take a break every now and then. He puts the dishes.
I dropped him on the floor, I think, or something. Why does he take the work so seriously?
Lord knows. His family come from a long line of fine figures. Tsubasa, Moridake, Williams Casanova. There's a lot to live up to for him. I can't even imagine a life outside of his work.
I'll have to get to know him through these other people. Do you think he'll ever take time to do anything for himself?
I sure hope he will. But I've never seen it in all the years I've known him. Be delicate. Don't be abrasive. Anyways, thanks for delivering these mugs.
To be delicate.
Tell Daisuke I said thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, Kofi. And then Mitchell is this stuff. All the food.
Oh, pitiful. Utterly mismatched flavor profiles. Texture's a mess.
A delivery from Daisuke.
Mitchell waves a hand at you.
Ah, yes. Unpack them for me, won't you?
Sure.
Mitchell looks over your deliveries, nodding his approval.
Brilliant. These are perfect for what I need. They should look spectacular in the dining room.
Late night snack never hurt anyone.
Just plates. Just plates. Food is an art form, and the plate is the canvas. The presentation is a non-negotiable part of the deal.
Okay, I agree.
Is as vital to a dish as the seasoning. It elevates the entire experience. Without Daisuke's hard work keeping me supplied, my dishes would be nowhere near Michelin level.
I could be more appreciative of the dishes.
Daisuke spent years refining his craft, creating his own ceramics. He has a respect for the work you simply can't be taught otherwise.
Creating it out of what?
Model yourself after
What do you mean he's creating it? Okay.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have reviews to complete.
See, I don't know. I'm very skeptical of all this stuff they keep talking about.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the Tipsy Tumbler. What can I get for you?
Here for delivery.
Delivery? Oh, You must be talking about the branded rocks glasses I asked Daisuke to get me.
Yep.
Oh, thanks so much. I'll take those right
Tipsy
off your hands.
tumbler.
You hand Beverly her package, and she sets to work unpacking and cleaning the glasses right away.
I'm glad Daisuke managed to
Was
get
he
these
using
for me.
my
He's
Amazon
one of the
account or
only
something?
people around here
How are you
that
getting
really
this
has a good
stuff?
taste for these kinds of things. How is that old dish slinger anyway?
He's recovering from a chip. He seems
Chip?
alright.
Oh, poor guy. That's the last thing he needs. But then again, maybe he'll finally relax a little now that he's forced to.
He really never takes a break, huh?
Yeah, he's always been into his work, but he used to make time for his hobbies and friends. Did he tell you he writes poetry?
Poetry? He hasn't told me anything but dishes.
Dear, oh dear. He's fallen right back into
He
his
literally
old
hasn't said
workaholic
anything to
pattern.
me other than like dish stuff.
Someone needs to remind him of who he used to be, who he still is.
Nice to see Daisuke is
He's
loved.
a real passionate guy, you know. But passion can lead to pain. It's easier for him.
He's into poetry. I'll have to remember that.
Write him a poem. It'll really tickle his teapot.
I'll try that. Thanks for the chat. Okay.
Hey, no, come back to the Tumblr anytime. Was I the last one?
Yeah, actually.
Great job! Daisuke's gonna love that.
Cool. Daisuke, I've done it. I have done your deliveries.
You find Fabrizio and Daisuke mid-discussion.
Oh, Fabrizio.
Beautiful. Like a ceramic sunset over a shining sea of China.
I told you I would help you organize. Just look at you now. Even an injury cannot slow you down.
Your assistance has allowed me to catch up on the rest of my work. I'm truly grateful.
Custom glassware. Ooh, that'd be pretty cool.
It's no problem whatsoever, amico mio.
Amico mio.
Speaking of friends, it seems as though you have a visitor.
Ah, we will speak again, Fabrizio. Farewell.
Ciao.
You have the air
Ciao.
about you of one who has completed their mission.
Yes, sensei. I hope I wasn't interrupting.
No. Fabrizio was only helping me reorganize inventory. You finished your deliveries then?
Hi. Yes.
Very good. It is almost as if our near-tragic accident never happened. With your help and Fabrizio's, I suppose this means my work is finished now.
Yes,
Daisuke stares
relax.
up at the dishes in the cabinet with an inscrutable expression. You wonder if now might be a good opportunity to bring out another side of Daisuke.
There must be something else to be done. Perhaps I can rearrange the dishes again.
Seems like a good time to relax to
Is
me.
it ever really a good time to But you are not wrong. I suppose I could spare a moment to sit.
Sit with
Would
me.
you care to join me?
Yes, I'd love to. I was hoping to get some time with you.
Oh. Well, I have the time now.
As you sit with Daisuke, both of you gazing up at the majesty of the china cabinet, you turn over the advice you received in your mind. You could talk to him about coffee.
Coffee, poetry.
Poetry? Ceramics?
I heard you write poetry.
I...
Oh, wrong one.
Who told you that?
Beverly?
Beverly's job is to dispense beverages.
Oh, it was a
not
secret.
secrets.
I should have.
I've been betrayed.
Oh. You shouldn't hide your art, I guess.
I'm not hiding it exactly.
Should have talked about ceramics, dang it.
But I am not sharing it either, I suppose. I suppose you must think it strange for a dish as serious as I am to be writing poetry.
I find it romantic.
Romantic? My poems were never love poems. But I am glad you seem to be a lover of poetry just the same. It seems like such a simple question. Friends, lovers, hobbies. They were pleasant, to be sure, but a distraction.
Yeah, people aren't a
When a
distraction.
relationship ended poorly, I often thought of how much time I'd wasted trying to please others.
Yeah, I should have talked about ceramics.
When a
Damn
hobby
it.
reached a plateau,
But it's okay.
I
We're
felt as
getting
though I
back.
let time slip through my fingers.
Getting back on track.
Time I could never get back. When I work too much, I do not have similar regrets. Or at least, I used to think so. being forced to slow down has shown me perhaps my priorities have
When is it
been
gonna
incorrect for
change his name?
Now, faced with a quiet moment and friendly conversation, I find myself woefully inadequate.
Aw.
Like a broken plate fused together with hot glue.
More like a crumpled paper plate. Not something you have to just accept. Help me work on
It is
reconnecting
a
with yourself.
kind offer, truly. But I am unsure if there's anything left to salvage here. I have much on my mind. Forgive my rudeness, but I must bid you farewell. I am no longer in the mood to chat.
Okay, fair enough. See you later, Daisuke. It didn't even... It didn't even... Is he in this now? Let's do... Status. AZ. Daisuke. He's not even listed. I still haven't got him to introduce himself. He's right here. Maybe... Is that a glitch? I feel like he should be in there now. Are these sponges something different? Or are they just someone else? It feels hard to decipher. What's up there? Let's talk to the sponges.
You're back.
Oh. Sinclair. Yeah, I guess so. Curious anything.
It all happened one rainy night on the north side of Perkleman City. The tough side. I'd stayed late at the office because I had extra work to do before the holidays.
Oh, this is how he got turned into a sink? Stayed late at your job as in insurance claims adjust. Okay, I'm following. Go on.
Well, when I left, I was feeling a bit low, so I went out to a local bar.
He said he's a human.
It's called the Banana Club. They make a mean Shirley Temple. Heavy pour.
Right, right. Then I thought Shirley Temples were what?
Devastatingly potent? Yes.
I was going to say...
For disaster? I know.
Oh yeah, Shirley Temples are, no alcohol. It's just, grenadine and, what, Sprite or something?
I should have known better. After I'd had about 7 of them, I went out for a stroll. I don't know where I was going. Just trekking the streets with my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, I came upon a fine dining establishment called the Questionable Dandelion.
Questionable Dandelion. Right, okay.
They've got an incredible buffet. Lots of strange ingredients from all around the world. They're always trying new things.
Okay.
Like Diplodocus berries.
Diplodocus berries?
And
okay.
Jimson weed cupcakes.
Okay. I get that, sure.
They also sell Excedrin by the pint. The headache medicine.
Oh, by the pint? Well, that sounds dangerous.
Oh, yes. Very. But good for headaches.
Okay. Is that
I
what
was
happened?
walking around, or sort of drifting, or rather, floating, or I guess you could say I was making my way about town.
Making my way.
Aimlessly, you see?
Walking fast. Faces past. And
what?
What do you mean, and what? You were just saying a story.
Ah, yes. So you want me to continue. This was your meaning.
What on earth is the matter with you?
That's precisely what I'm telling you.
I may just go insane here.
Please don't. I can assure you, it isn't as much fun as it looks. And with 2 of us in the room, it might just start to get a little confusing.
Oh, it might. Might it?
Please try to stay on track. Well, I came across an alley I had never noticed before. It was dark and had a rather threatening look about it. So naturally, I went down it.
Mm-hmm. What anyone might do.
I wandered down the alley and came to a door lit by a red light.
Right.
I opened it and found a long hall, at the end of which was a sort of booth.
Uh-huh.
This booth was a fortune teller.
Okay. Man, Sinclair. Sinclair, you're losing me. Come on, man.
Yes, her name was
Okay.
Vagabonda the Sinclairius.
Mm-hmm.
She spread out a deck of strange cards.
The Sinclairius. Strange how?
They were business cards.
Which one did you pick?
I chose at random, and the card I picked turned out to be the Ace of Spades.
Oh, he... I don't know what's this guy's deal. Sounds like a lucky card.
If only I'd known that it wasn't to be the case. Vagabonda snatched the card back from me and said, "Not that one!" Turns out she had her rewards program on the back. 12 stamps and you get a free spade.
That's pretty rude.
We agree! Besides, she only had 2 stamps.
Oh yeah, she should have gave that to you.
Again, and we had a bit of a row.
Okay, once you snatch it back, you know, you can't do that.
I guess that wasn't a very good start to our fortune-telling session.
Yeah.
I think that's why she cursed me.
How do you figure?
Because right afterward, she said, "Martin, that wasn't a very good start to our fortune-telling session. I'm going to curse you because of it." And then she cursed me.
Okay, yeah. Cursed you how?
She waved what looked like a magic wand. Although, to be honest, it could have easily been a bagel of some sort. And then said, "Martin, I doom you now to become a detestable object. I transform you thusly, so that you may go home and think about what you've done."
And think about what you've done. Magic wand bagel, same thing. Go home and think about what you've done.
She wasn't above a bad pun.
And then you became a sink.
And then I became a sink. Now you find me as I am, trapped in this porcelain prison.
Okay.
All I want to do is return to my old life, to stroll the streets of Turkleman City once more.
Turkleman City.
No care in the world. Oh, how I long for it. Please, won't you help me? Sudsy and I would be oh so grateful if you could get to the bottom of what's going on here and return us to our proper forms. Will you?
So the thing is, I can realize them. My goal is to realize all of them before I can realize, meaning turn them human. Before I can turn the glasses human, and then once the glasses are human, no one can use the glasses to do this to other objects. And I won't be killed because I have the glasses. But I don't know about turning him human. I don't know. Maybe he was human, maybe not. I'll help you, Sinclair, okay?
Oh, joy!
I don't
I
know.
want to help to get to the bottom of all this. I might suggest you seek out someone who is in the business of solving unsolvable mysteries.
The magnifying
or
glass?
just go see if Vagabonda the Sinclairius is willing to undo her curse for a free shovel.
Think I know just the magnifying
He
glass.
stands there silent and unmoving until you finally leave.
Okay. Oh, Sinclair is a character. That drained me. That's that's the last one. That's the last one for the night, Sinclair. Oh, Sinclair. Okay. Oh, I got a minute. Yes. Alrighty. Thanks for dropping in, Fuse and everyone else. Vicky for following along. Benin. I definitely love this game and want to finish it. But I don't know what just happened. I don't really have a set schedule for how I'm gonna do that. But yeah. It'll be sometime in the future. I think I want to keep going. Yeah. So thanks everybody, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.